goes to the Storm on a little chip and charge that caught the Warriors napping. So what do they do here early in the game?
It's interesting. Someone said that we're going to challenge us, the Warriors. I think their time's gone. That was a set play. A chip over the top from Harry Grant from dummy half, and Saw Falongo was streaming through. The Warriors look great. The Storm look like they're going to take the 2 points.
Yeah, the fullback was up in the defensive line. That's why Grant thought, I'm going to put it in behind them here, and Wade Egan was the offender. So Nick Meaney's calling for the kicking tee. They're going to take what should be a pretty elementary 2 points. So as Koza mentioned, a little bit damp underfoot. Sort of at times the rain was quite heavy throughout the afternoon. It was just sort of patchy throughout the day. I managed to find a break in the weather to walk down from the city and just stroll in cool yet sort of crisp conditions.
I was trying to build a shed. It took me 8 hours trying to get out there in between the rain showers. But I have noticed a few players slipping early on, so I think there's still a bit of surface water there.
15 from 19 off the tee so far this year for the experienced Nick Meaney, who's heading to the Bears next year. We just had the doubleheader in Perth. Meaney approaches, strikes, raises the flag, and the Storm are away here. 2-0 to Melbourne over the Warriors. Great to have your company on NRL Saturday. It's Quentin Hull alongside Ryan Hoffman with Ian Cohen down on the touchlines and those 2 scores earlier. Just missed it. Roosters beat the Sharks 34-22. Raiders got over South Sydney 36-34 earlier on. And just a reminder, we've got coverage of that Reds Crusaders Super Rugby game. It's being played at Lang Park. You can tune in on Sports Extra on ABC. Listen, no score as yet. AFL's underway with the Hawks and the Dogs doing battle in the Adelaide Oval night game at Gather Round. Hawthorn 1-1-7 leading Western Bulldogs yet to score. No score yet in the soccer between Western Sydney and Sydney FC in that big Sydney derby. Kickoff affected. Storm have got it. First carry taken by Uda Ikamanu, a dozen from his own line. Now King with the second carry. Near Kure and Clark are there to meet him as the Storm get to the 20 centre field. Grant runs out of dummy half. Couple of paces before popping the ball to Clark. It just looks like he belongs already, Cooper Clark, as he plays it here on the 30, having gained 7 or 8. Back to the centre third, through the hands. Liero onto Hughes, right edge. Chance picked up and driven back by Tuivasa-Sheck. Great tackle. And he's pushed back to the 30 with that tackle. Now Liero back to the centre third. He crashes to death. Still a dozen inside their own half, the Storm, and that's the end of the set. Hughes shaped to kick and decided to pass. They run it. Chan to the right. Over halfway goes Howard. He's up to the 30. Links up on the wing with Warbrick, who's tackled eventually over the touchline by the last defender coming across. Tuapiki coming across to make that one-on-one tackle on Will Warbrick. Hughes was thinking of kicking but was rushed at Hoffy, so he decided to roll the dice and it nearly worked.
Yeah, Hughes was kicking that for money, but it was the one-out pressure from the outside from Fisher Harris which made him play. The Melbourne Storm supporters were screaming through the middle, but he just could not get a centering kick in Will Warbrick.
Warriors deep inside their own territory. Wadaneza Lesniak put down now. Alasima. No, that's in fact Leotawa running through the centre third. Now near Kure, just short of the 30 for the Warriors. Slightly right-hand edge as they play the ball, goes to centre third for Aaron Clark. Clark tackled 11 inside Warriors territory. And a wavy fisty on an extra grab there from Trent Liero. Set restart for the Warriors. Ford takes the ball to halfway. So the Warriors will get their first real opportunity to set up an attacking set of tackles. In the attacking half, Fisher Harris, another 6 metres forward, 43 out as he plays at Egan, now to the right. Voyage past to Niakure, into 3 defenders, and Niakure stopped. 20 in from touch on the right wing side and 30 from the Storm line. 2-0 early on to Melbourne here as Ford takes the Wars to within 22 of the line. Couple of plays left in the set. He went to ground, wanted to get another set restart, not forthcoming. Boyd now changes direction with the pass to Fisher Harris. Offload to Egan, given to Ford to the right for Tuapiki. Didn't have much of a start, got going, but Clark knocks him down. Last play Warriors, 15 out and 15 in from the right. Swept to left and centre field for Boyd. He chips for the attacking left wing. It's ricochets off the hands of Tuivasa-Sheck into the hands of Chan of Melbourne. The Storm have got it. Joe Chan diffuses the danger, and he'll play the ball to start the set 8 from his own line. 2-0 Melbourne, and we've played 7.5 minutes NRL Saturday on ABC Sport with Quentin Hull, Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen at Amy Park in Melbourne. Here goes Moses Leo back in the team. He's up to the 20. As now Mini's a dummy half, runs in field, but can't get through the defence there of Clark and also Egan. Played to Grant, given to Udo Wikamanu, rolls down the centre third. Ford takes his legs, and he's got help up top in the shape there of Halasima to stop him. Grant runs the ball, gets nailed as he passes to Chan. Chan loses it on contact from Tuivasa-Sheck, and that's a lost ball from the Storm, cleaned up out there by Khan Pereira, and another mistake and a turnover of possession. So the Wars have got it on halfway.
Yeah, first error from the Melbourne Storm. With the wet, greasy night, that pass right at the line to Joe Chan was a bit hard to take. Probably not the best option there from Harry Grant.
Leah Towers over halfway, coming into the starting team with both Nickel Flugstar and Pompey, the named centres out. Now 6 more here on a ruck infringement from the Storm, so this gives the Warriors a good chance. Centering carry by Clark. He's 35 out in centre field. Fresh set here for the visitors. Jackson Ford one out to the right of the ruck. Give him more 10 on the game. Taken down by Munster and Grant 22 metres out. Egan a dummy half. Passes blindside to Niakure. Backs into the tackle of Munster and Fayalongo, and they stop him, but the Warriors are only 15 out, slightly right edge. Egan left in centre field with the pass to Boyd. Shows it, gives it, Fisher Harris onto Harris to beat it, but a great lead defensively out in that right side from the Storm. Tackle made by Meany. Egan passes back to the right through Clark to Boyd. Men in motion, hands onto Tuapiki on the edge. Beats 1, beats 2, running laterally across the 10, Tuapiki before he's put down on 5 by Liero. Last play Warriors, they run it to the right. Boyd, Niakure, through the hands. Big boy Liatower crashes his way in. He's just too large from that range. And the Warriors score first. As far as tries are concerned, Storm got the penalty goal, but Ali Liatower, his second try of the season and the first of the night for the Warriors.
It's been a bit of a trend of the Melbourne season. They force an error on themselves, give away another 6 again. The Warriors go down and make him punish for it. It was a bad read by Cameron Munster. There was no need for him to jam. There was no threat out there, but he came from a long way out. He created the overlap. It was man on man. That's a poor read from the experienced 5'8".
Oh, he was fighting out of his weight range there, Su'Afaialongo. He did an okay job, Ian Cohen, on the touchline to try and stop Liatower, but he's been terrific for the Warriors.
Yeah, just too big, too strong, and just made his way over. He had a couple attached to him as well, and Sewell was no chance to be able to stop him. Speaking of too big, too strong, Cooper Clark has come to my side occasionally. He's trimmed down from 145, but I'll tell you what, the grocery bill in the Clark household must have been interesting growing up. He is a big boy, and his appetite for work is substantial.
Well,
He's been busy.
And no word is yet on that even bigger contract extension. I know he signed at 28, but there was talk that they were going to extend him through to 31.
Well, he's the future of the club,
yeah.
Quite honest, and I think his diligence that he's shown in the pre-season certainly will gain that reward, because there'll be suitors coming for him.
Oh, yeah. Crowd gets on the back of Tana Boyd, trying to convert 15 in from touch on the right, 20 metres out. Boyd's kicked 21 of 31 this year, make it 22 of 32. Conversion is good from Tana Boyd, and the Warriors lead the Storm by 6 points to 2. We've travelled 11 minutes here in Melbourne on NRL Saturday on ABC Sport, repeating the Roosters beat Cronulla 34 to 22 in the most recent completed game in that doubleheader in Perth. Around the grounds, Hawthorn 14 lead the Bulldogs 0 in the AFL. Super Rugby Crusaders 5, Reds 0, and A-League men still 0-0 between Western Sydney and Sydney FC. Go to Sandra from Yea on the text. I hear my family in Wakefield are very excited to have Roger Tuivasa-Sheck next year at Trinity.
Great side.
Yeah.
Outstanding side.
Why wouldn't they be? The great RTS headed to the Super League. Don't know whether that would have been the case had R360 got up.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's a great opportunity for the Super League to get a class player like Roger, especially for a club like Wakefield too.
A couple of Well plays off the kickoff. Warriors get to the 20. Nick Kure has started well. He played the ball there. Egan gives it on to Aaron Clark. And Clark down the middle third takes the Warriors to the 30. Hughes there to make the tackle from Melbourne. Now Clark directs it left for his skipper. Fisher Harris runs into Grant, gets help from Liero, and the Fishers stop 9 inside Warriors territory. Played to Egan. Give it a Tuapiki. Chimes in down the middle third. Gets to the middle of the park when stopped. Ref Atkins says that's fine. Last play of the set here for the Warriors is a Boyd bomb, which is quite deep. Failongo under no pressure catches 10 from his own line. Gives it to winger Leo, who runs infield and tackle just shy of the 20. 6-2 Warriors. We've got 28 minutes left in the first half.
It's been a strong start. You mentioned there, Corey. I think he's up for the challenge. He's up against Cooper Clark. Cooper Clark's been very busy at the start trying to get at Tanner Boyd, but Murata Niakore is making sure no one's going to get over the top of his young halfback.
Mini's got a bit of space to stroll up to the 40 inside his own half before being stopped. But out of Warren from Blacktown. He's tipping the Warriors to win this one after so many losses as Munster kicks downfield, finds the defensive right corner. Tuapiki has to come out at the ball, bounced devilishly away from him at the last minute. Munster was close, but Tuapiki did well to field it, and does. It was a tester. Warriors have got it 15 from that own line. 0467 920 222 to get in touch. They'll throw the ball here to the edge. Khan Pereira's going on one of those looping runs where he runs across the goal line and then straightens, but he gets caught out on the defensive right edge. Tackle made there by Warbrick of the Stormers. Here is RTS down the middle third to Ivasa Shek, a dozen from halfway when stopped. Warriors working their way upfield well. Now Fisher Harris, by the way, in the starting of the possible 19 tonight, 8 hyphens for the Warriors tonight. It's always a good hyphen camp, and you get 2 extras as well these days. You've got to sort of keep an eye on that. End of the set, penalty to the Warriors. Was that play 6? I think it was last play coming, and the Storm have given away a penalty.
Cooper Clark was still in there.
Oh dear.
That's what's that, 1 penalty and at least 3, 6 against. It's the Melbourne Storm's discipline that has been very, very poor.
Such a pleasure having you guys on the radio while driving up the Bruce up the Fins from Kiwi. Thanks, Kiwi. There's a Dolphin supporter, interestingly. Warriors fine touch. Forward first carry. 25 out. They lead 6-2 the Warriors, and they're on the attack again. Conditions holding at the moment on a crisp night in Melbourne. As forward goes Fisher Harris. 18 metres out, slightly left. He stopped and plays the ball. Egan directs it blindside to Harris to beat her. Feeds to Ivasa Shek on the inside line. RTS gets past Grant before being stopped by King. Only 10 out centre field. Played to Egan, given right. Clark, flat ball on the forward. Well tackled low by Cooper Clark, and up top by Munster. Just to the right of the uprights, a metre out. Egan feeds it right. Niakore, too big, too strong. Same side, same method, and the Warriors double up. This time it's Murata Niakore using his brawn to get into the in goal, and it's 10-2 was kick to come.
The first try came off the back by a poor read by Cameron Munster. This time it was just numbers. They just got outnumbered there, the Melbourne Storm. You're right, it was a great tackle by Cooper Clark on Jackson Ford. He got a good play of the ball. The Melbourne Storm defence just came up trying to shut it down, but they couldn't stop big Murata Niakore for a well-deserved try. I've got to admit, for an old bloke who's going to the Super League, geez, Roger Tuivasa Shek is looking sharp. He has looked sharp every single time he has touched the ball.
He's going all right, RTS. Hoffy up with me in the box. Ian Cohen, concerned for the Storm fans early here.
Well, Storm have conceded 78 points in the last 2 games. Unbelievable sort of numbers for Melbourne Storm, and they've certainly started this first 15 minutes conceding another 10, so there is concern.
Murata Niakore.
They're their own worst enemy this time. They were all over him until Joe Chan dropped that ball. And since then, it's just been 6 agains and penalties.
That being said, the Warriors are the kind of team that will probably give the Storm the same opportunity.
Well, you've seen them look dangerous throwing a lot of offloads too, so they do fly by the seat of the pants a bit, and a bit of a greasy night, that could bring them unstuck.
There's no Luke Metcalf, but Tanner Boyd's been excellent in his absence for different reasons. Now a hammy for Metcalf, but Boyd here, same spot as the first kick. 15 in, about 18 out. He's had the sider and makes it 2 from 2. And the Warriors fans, they are well heard here at Amy Park. It's a sold-out game, and the Waz fans turn up in most places. particularly here in Melbourne. Warriors 12 lead the Storm 2. Let's go around the grounds in the AFL. Hawthorn 20 lead the Bulldogs 12. Super Rugby Reds have scored. Reds 7 lead the Crusaders 5. Just reminding you, ABC, listen and the Sport Extra button if you want to hear the Reds and the Crusaders. Make it 12-5 to the Reds now, and still scoreless in the football between Wanderers and Sydney FC. 0467920222, the SMS number. Our old mate, the Traralgon Tigers, he sent me a message saying, I've got FOMO, I've just gone past the train, past the ground, listening to you guys. Gee, loose pass off the kick-off from the Warriors, and they've given up the ball. The Storm have got it now. Who was that? I'll try and pick it up, but nonetheless, the Storm have got it on a loose play from the Warriors. First tackle off the restart. Chan picked it up now. Uduikamanu with the straightener. And another reset here that the Warriors haven't got on side. So Uduikamanu held up a metre out. Grant passes to the right, given to Hughes. To Longo steps off his right, runs laterally infield, gets knocked over. What did I say, Hoffy, about the Warriors will probably give the Storm the same chance?
Manifested.
Left side, Grant, Liero. Munster gives it on to young Clark, who steps through one. Boyd's trying to stop him, but they can't stop this big kick. Cooper Clark, his first try in the NRL, is a barnstorming, defender-ripping rumble to the northern end. Oh, remember the name, Cooper Clark, with an exclamation point with his first four-pointer in the big time.
That was just brute strength. That was brute strength. He hit the great line of Cameron Munster, sorry. He hit it hard on the inside shoulder. He got stopped once, he got stopped twice, but he just kept pumping those legs, spun out of it, gets the ball over the line. That's a try you want to score for your first NRL try.
Oh boy, forget the dinner bill, Kozer, he's worth every cent. If he eats up all his oats and does that, keep feeding him.
I would have suggested the grocery bill would have absolutely been huge. Hoffy, I'm going to be intrigued. He's 19 at the moment. What is a couple of summers in the weight room going to do for him? Because, as I said, his appetite for work is substantial, and he took 3 with him from about 4 or 5 metres out.
I think you don't see the best of a player until you get at least 3 pre-seasons in, so his ceiling is just getting higher and higher.
Cooper Clark from Campbelltown via Caloundra and now to the Melbourne Storm. Here's Meany just to the left of the uprights, converts the try. And the Storm did get given the opportunity from the Warriors' mistake and make it pay. Warriors 12, Storm 8.
They just do it to themselves, the Warriors. Yeah. There was really no need for that. All they do is complete their centre 6, nice long kick, keep putting pressure on the Storm.
To be honest, I reckon if you talk about what's he going to look like in the weights room, Kozer, I reckon he'd be one of those athletes where you wouldn't want him to do too much. He's going to have to do a lot of light reps, or otherwise he'll just explode, wouldn't he, with size?
He's a bit different to the last back row from Campbelltown that came to Melbourne.
Come on, Hoffy, you're still looking pretty good there.
Oh, no, I was built like one of those goalposts when I first come here.
Warriors with the kick-off, Uduikamanu with the carry. Stormy got it a dozen out, now King second play, over the 20. So, good start here as far as entertainment's concerned. 12-8 Warriors, NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Here's the try scorer, the team kid. Cooper Clark, left edge, almost short of the, just short of the 30 when he stopped. Now Longo zips into the action, and the helmeted format gains 8 down the middle third. Plays it a dozen inside Storm territory. Give it to Hughes. At the end of the set, he goes for one of those 40-20 angles. Doesn't get enough angle on the kick, but he's sent Wadaneza Lesniak all the way back into the end goal area. Dallon's got it, gets back into the field of play and has stopped 5 metres from that northern end goal area. And dare I say it, I reckon Jerome Hughes would be disappointed with that kick as to a peak he gains a chief 10 down the blind side. There was no one on that western touchline. He just didn't get the angle he hoped with the kick.
Didn't work with the angle he sent to a piggy the wrong way, but that could be another one for his memory bank.
Brad likes the defence here of Uduikamanu and Liero up in the face there of the Warriors. It's been a pretty good defensive set. And now, hold on, Khan Pereira is holding his neck, getting up to play the ball here. So Grant Atkins blows off time. Chris Butler is in the bunker tonight, as he was last night at Lane Park, the game that I did there. So doubled up. The butler in the bunker might do assignments from night to night. And yet again, hold on. So no penalty, no one on report. Pereira's okay, he plays it. Fisher Harris now tackled on the 30, and that's fine. So they're deep inside their own half, the Warriors. Boyd will have to get downfield with a deep kick. Failongo will catch, 20 from his own line. Got a bit of space to go too. He zips, he hops, he dances, he's tackled. On the kick return, 15 metres his own side of halfway. 20 minutes played, 20 to go first half here. Warriors lead 12-8. The crowd like the big pick up and dump tackle there made by Harris to Vita on Warbrick. Fed to the right side for Howard. Jack Howard just over halfway on the right edge for the Storm. Quick play the ball to Grant. Feeds it infield to the left to Hughes. Runs it, gives it to Munster. Shows it, straightens, bounces off Niakure. No, Niakure got him. Along with Tona Boyd, and Munster's tackled. 35 from the Warriors line. Blindside Grant. Oh, he didn't like the line. Got tackled. Somehow flips it to Munster, who was flat-footed. What's he going to do? Gives it to the right for Hughes. Now men in motion. Passes it out to Howard. Tries to palm away from RTS. He needs help, Roger, and he gets it eventually from Pereira. And Howard has stopped right edge 20 out. Last play, Storm. It goes to the boot of Hughes. He puts up a bomb which comes down on the goal line. It's caught by the Storm, but there are 3 Warriors players immediately around that man in purple who was swarmed. Who caught it in the end? Warbrick. It was Warbrick. I assumed that as soon as he caught it, Koza, he had 3 jumpers around him.
Yeah, it wasn't much he could do. His arms were still up in the air. If he'd managed to feed it back, it would have been good.
Here's a text from Filthy Phil. He says, I'm calling it, lads. Storm to miss the 8. Really struggle with the depth. Even the bench, I'm loving it. Sorry, Hoff. Up the Tigers. Thanks, Filthy Phil. 0467 920 222. 12-8 to the Warriors. 18.5 to the break. Warriors through Fisher Harris get to the 30 at the northern end. Now a dummy in run from Egan, and he flips back and offload back to Fisher Harris after he got to the defensive line. Now to the left. Boyd gives it on to Ford, but Ford, oh, he was tackled. No, not tackled. He got a pass to the edge for Niakure. That was interesting. Ref let it go. Niakure's tackled on that edge by Leo. Pass back to left and centre field, and Harris to Vita kicks downfield at the end of set. He kicked that from 15 inside his own half. Only gets it to midway goal line halfway out the end. And Warbrick's kick return, he catches it and he gets to within 10 of halfway.
Yeah, we're going a bit set for set here, and Melbourne Storm are really starting to win the field position battle. They're tackle 2, they're about 7 metres away from the halfway line. The Warriors need to dig in. They just need to keep turning up defensively, keep defending their line.
Moses Leo hits solidly as he just gets beyond halfway. The purple into the attack. The arrow pops up a short ball there for King. No way through as he's wrestled to deck on this, as mentioned, cool at the moment. It's a clear night. We've had a bit of rain during the day in Melbourne. A bit soft underfoot as a left edge feed here for Clark. Oh, 2 around him. He offloads to Munster. Second phase. Steps through a tackle. Links up with Grant. Grant offloads to Uruikamanu. He's up to the 10 but tackled. Kept it alive with an offload to Grant. Still alive. Passes to the right for Meany. Gives it on to Hughes. Hughes passes right edge. Failongo gives it on to Meany. And goes Howard. And Howard scores in the right corner. They kept it alive. Offload, and in the end, space on the right for Jack Howard to score for Melbourne. And it's 12-all with a kick to come.
There's great attack by the Melbourne Storm. I mentioned just earlier that they were starting to win the field position battle, and when you start to get a bit of fatigue, here come the offloads, and that's exactly what happened. Great offload by Cooper Clark. Gets out to Munster, then it was offload again. I kept on looking around, waiting for Failongo to pop up. He was out on the edge. They were patient. They eventually get the ball out there. Meany to Hughes. Gets the ball to Failongo. Great draw and pass. Howard in the corner.
Well, more offloads there than a suspect vessel being pinged by border control. Hey, Koza?
Absolutely. No, they managed to keep it alive, which was fantastic. And that right edge, obviously, Howard's just maximising that one as well. There's a bit of wind starting to develop now. It's going to the right, from the right to the left of your ABC Sport radio, and will be favouring some of those kicks from Jerome Hughes.
It's interesting, Jack Howarth has actually swapped sides this year. He was left side all last year, but he prefers to play on the right with Nick Meaney going. Nick Meaney actually said, I'm happy to swap sides with you because I'm not going to be here next year, so I'll swap sides and get used to playing on the right.
You're making me feel better for sort of saying it was going to be Meaney to score, not Howard. Was that sort of that Alan, that right edge thing? Oh, no, hold on, that's Meaney out there, isn't it? Who is now going for the conversion after the Howarth try. It's right on the edge of the touchline. This to put Melbourne to the lead. He struck it pretty well. It just gets over the crossbar. Conversion is good. And the Storm now lead it. They were 12-2 down a moment ago. It tries to Clark and to Howard. And it's Storm 14, leading Warriors 12. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport with Ryan Holt.
We've been waxing lyrical about Cooper Clark. It's actually Eli Katoa's taken him under his wing this season, as obviously providing a great role model. And it was great to see Eli Katoa on the field earlier, wearing the blue shirt, running the messages for the Storm New South Wales Cup team.
Really good news to see him back and circulating. So hopefully his recovery continues from that terrible concussion he suffered during the Pacific Championship. Just to reiterate that, Eli Katoa running around during that New South Wales Cup game. The referee is Udu Ikamanu had stepped off the mark from that first carry off the kickoff. And Jackson Ford's in his face as well. The two big fellas are looking at each other. Ball's eventually played. Play to King. Takes the Storm almost to the 20-metre line down that southern end. Grant, blindside and left. On to Clark. 3 men around him. Cooper Clark put to deck. He went and finished his schooling on the Sunshine Coast with the Falcons feeder system, having, of course, been a product of St Greeks, Campbelltown. Forward goes Liero, 10 from halfway, and now Fa'alongo, a straightening run. The fullback gets to the middle of the park. Last play. Grant, one-handed pick-up, directs it right for Hughes. He's going to bomb. It'll come down about 20 metres out. Khan Pereira leaps and catches brilliantly over Warbrick, and that takes some doing. Lofty Khan Pereira getting lofty there with that leap and catch, and the Waz have got it. 25 from their own line. Fed one man infield for two of us, a Sheck who can't get through. 14-12 to Melbourne, 14 minutes left in this first half. Wadaneza Lesniak goes forward for the Waz. 15 from halfway, went tackled, centre third. Egan, cheap yards out of dummy half. He links up there with Aris Davida. Got taken by Hughes at the last moment. Needed to be made that tackle. Now another little dart from dummy half. Egan gives it on to Tuapiki. They're 40 out. Last play coming up for the Warriors. Boyd with a bomb at the end of the set. Fa'alongo has to track left and catches it fine from his own line. The Melbourne fullback sees the defence in front of him and gets nailed. 10 from the southern in goal area.
There's only 13 minutes to go, and I don't think we've seen our first change as we see Alan.
First change now.
Yeah, Alan McDonald coming on the team. I reckon Andrew Webster will be looking to make some changes because some of his forwards are looking a bit tired.
So McDonald, one of the four activated for the Storm. Warbrick playing the ball. Storm at 25 from their own line. Now Alec McDonald, there he is. Straight into the action. Off the bench. Tackle 15 from halfway. Grant out of dummy half. Couple of steps forward. Then passes left from Munster. Hits the tackle of Niakure and is held up as well there by Fisher Harris. And Munster plays it on 5. Melbourne right on halfway. Hughes again with that right boot. It's a high kick downfield to Apiki. Takes it defensive right corner for the Warriors. 15 from his own line. Infield on the kick return and tackled. Midway goal line and halfway. And dare I say it, this has started to develop into a little bit of a grind. There's been a lot of attacking football, but this is high pace and pretty high completion stuff. I haven't got the stats off it, but just get the feel of it calling the game. As forward goes Wadaneza Lesniak. Warriors up to the 40 inside their own half. Now forward goes, it's one of the bench players. So there, Dimitri Vaimalga's out there as well. So too is Stowers Smith. So Vaimalga and Stowers Smith are out there for the Warriors. And Stowers Smith tackled 38 out last play, Warriors. Again, Boyd with the bomb. Again, Fa'alongo looks well placed, sets, leaps, catches. Diffuses the bomb comfortably with Vaimalga coming at him. And and it'll be a Storm ball 10 from their own line. A dozen minutes to the break, and Melbourne lead the game 14-12. Quentin Hull, Ryan Hoffman, and Ian Cohen, your company on NRL Saturday on ABC Sport.
Leading into the Howarth try, I said that the Melbourne Storm are winning the field position battle. We're going to do another arm wrestle here as
penalty.
The Warriors just broke it.
High tackle.
I was about to say the Warriors were really getting on top. Melbourne Storm were starting to start their sets closer and closer to their try line, but that penalty there with 11 minutes to go, that's just a circuit breaker for the Storm. They can take a deep breath now.
So Jerome Hughes is a bit angry with the referee there, because Grant Atkins is being a little pedantic as to where he had to take the kick from, and Hughes wanted to get the game going. Anyway, finds touch, but they're still 10 inside their own half. 11 minutes to the break. Clark with the first carry. Very broad-shouldered, broad-chested teenage boy, really. He scored the opening try. He's among the men here and playing like he belongs. King down the middle third. Tackled 5 metres attacking side off halfway. Blindside Grant to Munster. The Hughes through the hands, but a knock on. Knock on from Chan. Picked up by Tuapiki, who broke a tackle before eventually Howarth gets him. That was looking dangerous for a moment. So there's the mistake from the Storm, which invites the Warriors to come downfield, and a penalty as well. They're being very genial, these two teams. Just when one gets on top, they give the invitation to the other to come back into the game.
Yeah, it's become happening in clumps, isn't it? You go through a period of a good arm wrestle, good discipline, and then it rolls into mistake, into penalty. This is a big challenge for the Melbourne Storm. 10 minutes to go before half-time.
Quite sure that penalty was for.
I think it was a high shot, but I don't know where the high shot was.
It didn't look very high on the replay. That was the groan that you heard from the crowd. 10 minutes to the break. Storm lead 14-12. And Jackson Ford first carry, 35 from the Storm line. So Warriors off the penalty, now in attack. Stowers Smith, centre third to the 30. Stopped. Plays the ball to Egan. Given to by Malga. Men in motion to the left. Harris Tavita onto Tuivasa Shek. Steps through one RTS before. It was Hughes' second wave of defence gets him. And he gets 6 again, 12 in from the touchline at 12 metres out the left. Back to the right in centre field. Given on to Dimitri Vaimalga, who's put down in a 3-man Storm tackle. Centre field and a dozen from the goal line at the southern end. Egan feeds it left to the crash ball line there at Ford. He's stopped by 3 defenders. Only 10 to the left of the uprights, 5 out. Blindside Egan gives it to Harris Tavita. Slipped a little. Maybe high. No, referee lets it go. Good stop made there by Howarth with the tackle. Now Egan to the right. Gives to Boyd. Double cutout. Hits the deck. Rolls dangerously to the edge. And Wataneza Lesniak cleans up the mess and scores the most fortuitous of tries. That was far from planned, dare I say it, for the Warriors. I'm trying to think of the most appropriate. It was a shocker of a pass that went to grass, and Solglow got there first. Warriors back to the lead at 16-14, kick to come.
It's the most dangerous pass in rugby league, the bounce pass. No player ever tries to do it or means to do it, but it always comes off and nearly always ends up in a try. Moses Leo, at first was Nick Meaney nearly had a chance to grab it, then Moses Leo nearly had a chance to grab it. Dalawatins Lesniak didn't have to do a hell of a lot, just had to wait for it to fall into his hands. Try time Warriors.
Yeah, clean bowled both Leo and also you have a look at Meany as well. They could have taken it and run the 95 all the way. There was absolutely nothing to stop them, but the ball eluded them.
Almost waiting for Fa'alongo to swoop on that and run 95 metres, as Ian was saying. And all 3 tries have been scored in exactly the same portion.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the Storm's left edge. They either out of numbers or someone's jamming or doing the wrong thing. There's a real disconnect at the moment.
Data Graham from Taree, thank you. He says, wow, what a game. Loving the coverage so far. Thank you. Jerry from Bondi says, Roosters and Storm, my favourite teams. Roosters made a big comeback. Can only hope the Storm can click into gear and do the same. Yeah. Well, down early against the Sharks today. Roosters won the second leg of the Perth doubleheader, 34-22. So Boyd's kicked 2 from 2 from this spot, 15 in from the right and 18 metres out. So he's got no excuses about not knowing the grass, but he's hooked that one. Missed it. Give him a rap, and what does he do? Let lets us down. Pulled that across the face, so Boyd's 2 from 3. And it's Warriors 16, Storm 14, 7.5 to the break. Let's get around the grounds. In the AFL quarter time, Hawthorn has an 11-point lead over the Western Bulldogs in Adelaide. Super Rugby first half at Lang Park. You can hear that, by the way, on ABC Listen. Reds 14, leading the Crusaders 12. And Sydney FC has scored in the Sydney Derby. A-League men first half. Sydney FC 1, leading Western Sydney Wanderers 0. 0467920222 is the number to get in touch here. Brian from your minor says riding off the Storm at this point of the season to make the 8th is idiocy. Well, that's in reply to one of our texts earlier. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I don't think I've written them off from making the 8th just yet.
What are we in, round 5 or 6?
Round 6.
Long way to go.
Long way to go. Oh, that's a good carry. Oh, Halasina's 2-on-1 strip. He lost the ball on a barnstorming run, but both Grant and Clark are in the tackle. And again, like this is the invitation of points being scored for the other mob to get in your half again.
And I was about to say, I'd say there's another try here. I don't know for who, but I think there's another try here before half time.
Great
George for starting with Josh King on the bench.
And who's come on, Ian?
It was David Moales.
David Moales come on. Okay, thank you. See, it's a different experience these days. You've got to make sure you make a mark next to each of the 6 to know who's still left available, with 6 being chosen under the new interchange rules. So there's a ping press set for the Warriors. Right on the attack, they're 30 metres out into a peak. He's trying to duck under tackles, but McDonald's there to stop him in company with Clark. Right edge, 22 out. Egan feeds it left and centre field. Malga puts it under his right arm, charges forward. Knocked over Grant, but got tackled by Mwale. Left edge, give it a Boyd. His pass knocked forward into the in-goal area. Cleaned up by Warbrick of Melbourne. Now what happened there? Knock on from...
I think it just hit the shoulder of Jacob Laban, I think's out there.
Warriors knock on, was it there?
Yeah.
It happened all very quickly on that left edge. Yeah, here we get Laban was running a line and overran the hole. And Boyd sort of passed it behind him and ricocheting off the shoulder. So that is a great let-off for the Storm. 5.5 minutes remain in this first half. Warriors lead the game 16-14. Quentin Hull, Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen bringing NRL Saturday to you on ABC Sport, live from Melbourne. Sold out here. And all the AFL footy in Adelaide, certainly it's given Rugby League centre stage in the Victorian capital on this Saturday night. Big shout out to you if you're one of our regulars tuning in on News Radio here in Melbourne. Great to have your company as McDonald takes the purple midway goal line and halfway. Plays it there to Grant, feeds it right through the hands of Liero to Hughes. Now on the edge for Longo. He bounces away from Tuivasa-Sheck but gets caught from behind. Tackles made out there by Harris to Peter, but they're only now up to the halfway line. Hughes with the dummy and straight, but it gets taken down, so he's out of calculations for the last play execution. It'll be Munster instead on the last. A shallow bomb from halfway will come down 30 metres out, make it 20 out. Still caught though by Wadaneza Lesniak, and he'll be stopped and play the ball 22 metres from that northern end here. Given one man in field for Tuapiki. The fullback is swamped there. And a high tackle. I think it was Mwale is the offender. Oh, no. Hold on. You just said Trent Liero. Was he in the tackle? Yeah, he was. Yeah, right shoulder into the jaw. Liero on report.
Melbourne Storm's discipline this half has been absolutely horrific. Whether penalties are 6 against and whether or not they're justified or not, they're putting themselves in position to get a 6 again against them when they get a penalty against them. That'll be the biggest thing from Craig Bellamy in a half time. They're shooting themselves in the foot with ill discipline.
And the trainers had a look at Tuapiki and give him a thumbs up after he copped that shoulder to the head, so it's cleared the on-field head injury assessment. Kick for touch finds it on halfway. Just under 4 minutes to the break, and again the Warriors invited into attacking territory. Ford with the first carry, taken 47 metres out. Now Boyd gives it on to Stowers Smith, and he's tackled 40 metres from the Melbourne Storm line. Grant there to make the tackle. Egan out of dummy half, gives it through by Malma to the right for Boyd. Flat ball to Laban, 3 around Jacob Laban as he is tackled. On the 30-metre line at the attacking end for the Warriors. Blindside right, give it to Apiki. Has a run at them. McDonald knocks him down though, one-on-one. Right edge, 8 in from touch. Played there to Leotawa. Feeds it infield to the left through Egan. To Boyd. Pops it for the straightener from Vaimalnga. He gets an offload away on contact. And the flat-footed Harris Tavita, who then got going and then had the hole closed by the tackle there of Liero. Last play to the left. Given to Boyd, who bombs from 20 metres out for that left wing. Oh, Warbrick goes hands above his head confidently. Catches it brilliantly. And the kick return takes 2 men beyond the 20. He's about 23 metres out when stopped. Will Warbrick with a brilliant defusal of the bomb on the defensive right for Melbourne.
Huge play by Will Warbrick. It was a very, very dangerous kick to not only catch it high above his head, but to get his feet on the ground and make a good 20 metres after catch.
Great play from the man who's headed to the Warriors next year, Will Warbrick, but he's got the season to play out in the purple. It's funny, you think he, of course, well, was an AFL youngster in New Zealand, then went to the Olympics in the Sevens team, and well, Moses Leo, of course, is the Paris Olympian, current NZ Sevens product. Left edge feed, who's, Mini's tackled on halfway. It's the last play here for the Storm. Again, they don't get great territory on the set. Floating short bomb from Munster. No one wants to get underneath it. The bounce is batted backwards from the Storm player, but into the hands of Alasima of the Warriors, and he's tackled. So the Wars come up with it on that floating, hoping left foot ball from Munster at the end of the set.
Farlunga was slow to get up after that tackle, still feeling it.
Okay, Ian Cohen on the touchline. Keeps you right across all actions down there. As Khan Pereira plays at 5 inside Warriors territory. Now Stowers Smith takes them into attack. He's put on his back 45 from the Storm line. So an important 90 seconds coming up here. Warriors lead 16-14. They're on the attack. Egan gives to Vaimalnga, now to Harris Tavita. A straightening run to taken down by Grant and Hughes. Last play coming up here for the Warriors. 35 out. And Boyd once again bombs. It's on the head of Failongo. He leaps and catches, but the penalty goes to the Warriors. There must have been, in back play. I can see Tuapiki's down. Was he knocked over? I like to follow the ball, Huffy.
Yeah, he's chasing through. Yeah, Melbourne Storm player. I can't see who it is. Changed his line.
Is it Harry?
It was Harry Grant.
Yeah, it was Grant. So, well, this is an interesting call. They lead by 2 and they're going for 2 here.
Yeah, I think with a minute to go.
Wouldn't get a full set.
Nah.
Only get 2 plays.
Yeah. But once again, Melbourne Storm's discipline at the forefront. I don't think Harry Grant needed to do that. It was minimal contact at best, but once again, they're putting themselves in a situation where the referee can call it.
Well, you can't even veer anywhere near a player running through these days, because as soon as you get grazed, it's basically like a striker in the penalty box. As soon as they're grazed these days, they go down.
They go down.
Hoping for the call.
Don't get me started on the new rules.
We've had a few rants about that this weekend. So penalty goal attempt from Boyd, just left of the uprights, 15 metres out. Right boot strike is good. It adds a further 2 points to the Warriors tally as the siren sounds in the background for half-time. It's been more than a decade since the Warriors have beaten the Storm, and here on this Saturday night in Melbourne, they go to Oranges with the lead. Warriors 18 lead the Storm 14. Leotawa, Niokore and Wadaneza Lesniak, the try scorers. Boyd kicking 2 from 3 conversions and that 1 from 1 penalty goal. So he is 3 from 4 on the night with the boot. While for the Storm, Clark and Howarth, the try scorers, and Mini has kicked not only both conversions but an earlier penalty goal as well. So Mini penalty goal on 4 minutes for 2-0. Back-to-back tries Warriors. They led 12-2 after quarter of an hour. Back-to-back tries for the Storm. They were 14-12 in front after 24 minutes. But then 9 minutes before the break, Wadaneza would return the Warriors to the lead, and then we've had that penalty goal. That's the scoring progression of the first 40, Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, look, it was a funny half. It's like a half in thirds. The first third was all Warriors, middle third was all Storm, the last third was all Warriors again. But I just got to go into this one. The Melbourne Storm look extremely frustrated at the moment. They seem to be frustrating that things aren't going the way they want. And the Warriors are just playing football. If they can get out those poor errors, those bad offloads and those wrong passes, then that's going to give them a great opportunity to really put some more pressure on the Melbourne Storm. For the Melbourne Storm, they just got to look at themselves. They've got to look at the errors that they're creating and the opportunities they're giving for the referee to blow a six again or a penalty. Whether or not they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You're putting yourself in position where the referee can do something.
Ian Cohen on the touchline just before you get a cup of tea at half time. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, with 10 minutes to go, everything was even. Possession time was even, possession numbers, completion rates. But now the Warriors have just edged in front. 54-46, 13 minutes of possession as against 11 and a half and 90% completion. So the Warriors will pretty much have spring in their step going into the sheds at half time.
Good on you, Koza. Ian down on the touchline, Hoppy up here. And your thoughts continue to come through. Loving them. Thank you. 0467 920 222. Woohoo! Clay, the postie from Kingston, south side of Brizzy. The playoffs last season were really awesome, but it's exciting to witness the closeness of the team so early in this season. I love listening to you guys call. Thank you to Clay, the postie. Mark and Donna from Maryvale. They also say so many great matches this weekend. Brilliant commentary. Special request to say hi to Mem, our neighbour's mum. I wonder if they're doing that just to test my tongue at this time. Hello to Mem, the neighbour's mum of Mark and Donna from Maryvale.
Is that a tongue twister for you?
There's almost as many M's in that as the great hit from the Crash Test Dummies.
That's a great song.
Mem's mum from Mark at Maryvale and Donna as well. Oh, hi, Quentin, Ian and Ryan. Nice to hear you having fun commentating tonight. All the best from Dion. Thank you. Rowdy Andy says, with some of these refs, their last words on earth will be six again.
That's how you know you're in hell. if you're hearing six again all the time.
Thanks, guys. Southern Cross is beautiful tonight. I'm hanging at Lake Wapengo. I probably hadn't pronounced that correctly. Wapengo. Lake Wapengo? I don't know where that is. Let me know. That's an unnamed text. And one more here. Brendan from Mergen. Love your commentary, fellas. Heads and shoulders above the opposition. As a passionate Storm supporter, what can my team do to remain competitive, given the loss of so many of our players? Yeah, it's one of the, I think, growing themes of the season. We've heard Hoppy speak about it tonight. We'll continue to investigate that. Thank you, guys. 0467 920 222. Halftime, Warriors 18, Storm 14. After earlier today, the Roosters and the Raiders were the winners in the Perth doubleheader. First game of the day, Canberra beat South Sydney 36-34. And in the second game, it was Roosters 34, Cronulla Sutherland 22. More to come on this NRL Saturday from Amy Park after a trip to the ABC newsroom.
This is ABC News with David Rowlands. US Vice President J.D. Vance has arrived in Pakistan's capital Islamabad ahead of peace talks due to be held with a high-level Iranian delegation amid a fragile two-week ceasefire. Larry Buttrose has the details.
The talks are aimed at ending the war launched by the US and Israel at the end of February, despite the US claiming the massive joint aerial campaign has all but destroyed Iran's military capability. Iranian attacks on Gulf states, and especially its closure of the vital oil artery of the Strait of Hormuz, have sent shockwaves through the global economy. The Iranian delegation is already in Pakistan for the talks, but says before they begin, preconditions must be met, including a ceasefire in Lebanon. J.D. Vance has cautioned the Iranians against what he terms trying to play us, but says he expects a positive outcome from the negotiations.
Energy Minister Chris Bowen has confirmed Australia's reserves for petrol and jet fuel have fallen. Providing his daily update, Mr. Bowen says the nation has 38 days worth of petrol, 31 days worth of diesel and 28 days worth of jet fuel in reserve. A decrease of 1 day for petrol and 2 days for jet fuel. The reserve for diesel has risen by 2 days. The Energy Minister has assured that Australia is as well placed as possible amid the ongoing oil crisis.
They are figures in reserve. It's not the amount of fuel that we have that's a countdown. It is added to by fuel that comes in, and of course it doesn't count the fuel that's in cars and is in service stations right around Australia.
NASA has declared its Artemis 2 mission a success after the first crewed journey around the moon in more than 50 years returned safely to Earth. The Orion spacecraft splashed down off the coast of Southern California, completing a 10-day mission that saw astronauts travel more than 1.1 million kilometres. Orion reached speeds of over 40,000 kilometres an hour before re-entry, and after safely splashing down, its 4 crew members were flown to a US aircraft carrier for medical checks. NASA Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling says the return to Earth hit its marks.
We hit our flight path angle target within 0.4%. We flew an entry range of 1,957 miles, and we landed within less than a mile of our target. What a tremendous day.
Police are investigating what they describe as the vicious killing of a 65-year-old farmer found shot dead on his property in far northwestern Victoria. Shannon Schubert reports.
65-year-old Oyen man Rick Wills was last seen leaving his Hughes Street home at 8 a.m. on Easter Sunday to go to work on his farm on the Mallee Highway. When he failed to return home for lunch, his wife raised the alarm. Police say he was shot and dragged behind a vehicle. They found his body in a shallow grave on the farm last Tuesday. Wife Donna Wills says she can't understand why anyone would hurt him.
He was one to help anyone. Why would they want to do it to me?
Police are urging anyone with information to come forward.
A manhunt is underway for a prisoner who escaped a low-security correctional facility in Queensland's Scenic Rim. 35-year-old Corey Leslie escaped the Palling Creek Low-Security Correctional Facility at Rathdowney this morning. He's currently serving a 1-year sentence for non-aggravated burglary of a non-residential building. The Australian dairy industry is pushing for higher supermarket pricing as farmers struggle with soaring fertiliser prices and crippling fuel costs as a result of the conflict in the Middle East. Some farmers are already slowing production in an effort to minimise losses. Dairy Australia statistics show Australia's milk output has been declining for years, with production now sitting at around 8 billion litres annually. The New South Wales mid-north coast town of Coffs Harbour went bananas this morning, with hundreds of locals gathering at Jetty Beach to form a giant human banana in a vibrant show of community spirit. Claire Simmons filed this appealing story from the scene.
The beach is pretty deserted now, but not long ago, people were all bunched together and they were trying to create the world's largest formation of a human banana. And of course, they were all wearing yellow. Now, this is because Coffs Harbour's claim to fame is being the home of the big banana, one of Australia's oldest big things. It was built in 1964. To celebrate those banana plantations, generations of motorists have seen lining the Pacific Highway. Voting opened last night in the Top Tourism Town Awards, and Coffs Harbour wants to be the top banana.
Anne Edmonds, Kitty Flanagan, Magda Zabansky, and so many more.
Good morning, everyone.
No one cares.
In comedy gems like Fisk, Kath and Kim, and Bad Company.
This fun.
No, thank you.
Comedy that leaves an impression. ABC iView.
Throws it, goals it.
Get your footy fix.
Live and ad-free with ABC Listen.
AFL, NRL, men's and women's.
This season, don't let life get in the way of the footy. Hear it on ABC Listen.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Last play Warriors, they run it to the right. Floyd, near Corey, through the hands. Big boy Leotawa crashes his way in. He's just too large from that range. Just to the right of the uprights, a metre out. Egan feeds it right. Near Corey, too big, too strong. Same side, same method. And the Warriors double up. This time it's Murata Niokore using his brawn to get into the in goal, and it's 10-2 Was. Kick to come. Left side, Grant Liera. Munster gives it on to young Clark, who steps through one. Boyd's trying to stop him, but they can't stop this big kick. Cooper Clark, his first try in the NRL, is a barnstorming, defender-ripping rumble to the northern end. Munster second place, steps through a tackle, links up with Grant. Grant offloads to Rudo Ikamanu. He's up to the 10 but tackle, kept it alive with an now Egan to the right, gives to Boyd. Double cutout, hits the deck, rolls dangerously to the edge, and Watanazer Lesniak cleans up the mess and scores the most fortuitous of tries. 35 out, and Boyd once again bombs. It's on the head of Failongo. He leaps and catches, but the penalty goes to the Warriors. There must have been, yep. So penalty goal attempt from Boyd, just left of the uprights, 15 metres out. Right boot strike is good. It adds a further 2 points to the Warriors tally.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Don't want to go off early, Warriors fans, but you're 18-14 in front at Melbourne. It's been 17 starts since you've beaten the Melbourne Storm. Hello, Quentin Hull here for NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. A couple of little numbers I prepared earlier. And since they're in front now, when you do this kind of research, Ryan Hoffman, you don't want to let it burn. But there have been 5 Prime Ministers since the Warriors have last beaten Melbourne. This is in New Zealand. Five different Kiwi Prime Ministers since the Wars last beat the Storm. So John Key was incumbent, then we went through Bill English, Jacinda Ardern, Chris Hipkins, and now the current Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon. So that's all since the Wars last beat the Storm. By the way, you could get an iPhone 6 back in 2015. What are we up to, iPhone 18?
Something like that.
Yeah. And best song of 2015?
What's that?
Mark Ronson feat Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk. So that was making the charts for the first time. The last time the Wars beat the Storm, which was round 18, 2015. And now I've got Warriors fans howling me down saying you shouldn't have used those stats.
Do you know a fact I would like to know? What was petrol back then?
I didn't want to press the nerve too hard.
No, that's it.
So it's Warriors 3 tries to 2 at halftime. Ryan Hoffman played in both jerseys. 18-14 to the Wars. Earlier tonight, Roosters 34, Sharks 22, and the Raiders beat South Sydney 36-34. They quickly get around the grounds. Second quarter of the AFL, Hawthorns made a really good start against the Western Bulldogs in that gather-round game. The Hawks lead by 23 points in the second term there, 41-18. Halftime Super Rugby, Reds 14, Crusaders 12. Halftime A-League Soccer, Sydney FC 1, lead Western Sydney 0. And by the way, Lake Wapengo, thank you for your messages. It's not far from Tathra and Bermagui on the Sapphire Coast. So we got that. And our texter, who still hasn't given us his or her name, or their name, eating the world's best oysters for dinner. Yeah, that is a good area for oysters. I think that would probably be on the podium with Tasmania for oyster producing in the country, the south coast of New South Wales.
Might have to make my way there. That could be a good drive up there.
So as the players are re-emerging, what are you seeing about this footy game, Ryan Hoffman? Where are we going? Have I wasted those stats? Are we about to see the first win in more than a decade for the Warriors?
Well, yeah, look, I'm not going to make a call because this game's all about momentum. And who's going to capitalise on their momentum? And the Warriors did that, especially in the back end of that first half. And I said a lot in the first half. Melbourne Storm were their own worst enemy. And I saw some vision on the TV of Craig Bellamy, shall we say, being animated as he was talking to the players. And I think a lot of that has to do with discipline and their commitment to defence.
My feet are on the floor here, and they got warm for a moment. I think we're just above the Melbourne Storm rooms. I think that was because of the fire and brimstone delivered beneath us.
Because they were all over the Warriors, and some ill discipline creeped in and just invited them back in the game. This Warriors team is good and will capitalise on it.
Mark from the ACT text. What can the Storm do to stay competitive? Question mark. As a Raiders fan, cry me a river. Just one premiership would keep me going for another 20 years. Good on you, Mark. Stower Smith off the back fence with the first carry off the kickoff of the second half. The Warriors have got the ball. They're now running towards the MCG in this second half. And the Storm running to the right of your radio dial as Laban takes the ball to within, 25 of halfway. Now Jackson Ford left edge and the gain of 10. He's 15 from halfway left edge as the Warriors work their way upfield first set of the second half in cool but kind conditions tonight. Bit of a second phase here with an offload from Vaimalga, fed by Boyd to the right edge with the defence shifts, and Laban is tackled 10 from halfway. Back to the centre third, Dimitri Vaimalga with that ponytail out the back. He surges forward and gets taken half a metre inside his own territory. End of the first set of the second half. Harris Tavita uses his left boot to kick high and deep downfield. Oh, for a moment I got distracted. Warbrick catches it, but Hughes went to ground there with lack of Halasima, and the referees decided to give the Storm a penalty for Halasima, I think, running into Jerome Hughes. Gives us a chance to get to Ian Cohen on the touchline for his halftime report. Ian.
Yeah, the word out of the sheds for Storm was all about discipline and not giving away six again, not giving away penalties. They've got to be better. Out of the Warriors, good momentum. They're happy with that. They know Storm's an 80-minute team, though, and they've got to watch the Storm offloads.
Thank you, Ian. 0467 920 222 to get in touch. Not a huge gain on the touch finder, and Chan's pushed back a couple of metres. Oh dear, and he has made a meal of the play the ball. And Joe Chan got an absolute roasting from Craig Bellamy at half-time. Where's Bellyache at the moment?
He's next to us. We can't quite see him around the corner, but someone's up and about. That is a referee tip, because he's been done with this before, Joe Chan, just stepping over the football.
Yeah, he didn't even put his foot on it to play the ball.
Which I don't have a problem with as long as they're consistent.
Yeah, but that's, as you say, it's not the way they've been instructed to do it. So Vaimalga's got the ball, the Warriors have the ball, and they're in the attacking half. Vaimalga put to deck by 3 defenders, and a wavy fisty coming up. Ruck infringement, so a fresh set for the Warriors as they take the ball to within 28 metres of the Storm line on the right side run from Laban. He then has the ball ripped from his hands by Munster. Penalty. They take the tap and go. Wade Egan with a little scoot. Men nap him, but eventually he runs into the defence. Liero tackles him, and he's only about 10 metres out. Egan played by Malga, given to Ford into the defence and taken down by McDonald under the black dot, and only 4 metres out. Warriors on the attack, and again Harry Grant mucking around in the ruck. Oh, they're pressing the envelope here. Repeated infringements. Egan out of dummy half. He's flat-footed and tackled. Almost had to work out. Yep, fresh set. What are we doing? Crash ball play here by Malga. Tries to burrow through. He's held up next to the padding of the post, I think. What's the call from Grant Atkins?
Just checking it. Second 2. Got a no try.
Well, Malga's out to the 10.
He's running back to play the ball. Surely that's an indication he hadn't scored.
Clear Melbourne's contact is fine. Dimitri maintained possession into the initial contact. You can see the ball's up at this stage.
It's Chris Butler in the bunker.
Remains up with no grounding over the try line. We have a decision.
So we're out to the 10 for a play the ball, and it'll be play 3 coming up. So plenty of bullets left in the gun for the Warriors in this set. Leading 18-14 early second half. Stowers-Smith rumbles forward. He had some insulation tape around that good-looking shaven head earlier, but he's gone with that. Just going with a nude nut. It's glistening on this Saturday night. Right side feed from Egan. Oh, good defence there from Clark to stop by Malga a metre out. Now Egan back to the left. Loose pass. Off the deck. Boyd got it. Giving it to Harris to beat. Numbers on the left. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck receives the pass, and RTS bangs down for the Warriors. They extend their lead. The veteran at 32 years of age scores his first try of NRL 2026. And the Wars are 22-14 in front with a kick to come.
The bounce pass strikes again. The ball hits the deck, which made Jack Howarth sprint in where he didn't need to. The Melbourne Storm couldn't get across. Roger hits the hole, goes straight through in between Jerome Hughes and Will Warbrick, with Howarth having left his spot. It's a bad read by Melbourne. I've got to admit, I've never seen a Melbourne Storm team so frustrated and looking at each other and getting frustrated with a play than I've seen been tonight.
Well, we've spoken about streaks and so forth. What, 2015, Ian Cohen, the last time Melbourne lost 4 in a row, and they're staring it down at the moment.
Yeah, 4 in a row really is uncharted territory. It's a decade old, that particular one, but the record against the Warriors is 17.
Yeah.
On the hop. I did speak to Storm about the bait that Joe Chan got. I was just told it was for a variety of reasons.
Read into that as you will.
A Christmas cake of ingredients.
Yeah, and I'm thinking he might get another one after some of the opening minutes.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck scores the try. 10 in from the left edge. Tana Boyd tries to convert. His strike is good. Boyd raises the flags. He's got 4 from 5 off the kicking tee. And the Warriors lead the Storm 24-14. There's an eternity left though. Still 34 and a half minutes left in the game. It's NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. I'm Quentin Hull, calling alongside Ryan Hoffman and Ian Cohen. Great to have your company here in Melbourne.
Big call. I've just seen Stefano Tuicumano come on the field and Joe Chan, who is making his way to the bench with Trent Liero going to that right edge.
By the way, that lake near Tathra, it rhymes with stop and go. So it's Lake Whop and Go.
Whop and go.
Thank you to Basil from nearby Bega. Restart caught by Tuapiki, and against Stower Smith says give it a meal, run it back. He's been energetic off the bench. Can't miss him with that gleaming dome up to the 20. And now Laban down the middle third. Already almost to the 30, the Warriors. Certainly rumbling with intent tonight here in Melbourne. Egan feeds it left forward into the defence of Liero. Ford backs his way a couple of metres upfield, 11 metres from halfway. Now to the left, given on to Halasima, and Leka Halasima is tackled. Played the ball there to Egan. Passes infield on to Vaimalga. Stands in the tackle. Ordered to play it. Last play, 35 out centre field. Egan feeds it right to Tana Boyd. Puts up a bomb. Attacking right side. Oh, it's knocked on by the Storm. Leaping out there to catch it. And it's back in the hands of Wadaneza Lesniak. So that was Leo who went up to catch it. Knocks it on. Wadaneza Lesniak's cleaned it up. And the Warriors get a fresh set 20 metres out. Given on to Vaimalga, who rumbles down the middle third. Grant's there along with Liero to stop him. He's only 11 metres out, slightly left of the uprights. And the Warriors fans are up and about in Melbourne. Egan looks right, goes left. But he gets taken by the defence of Liero and Hughes. Plays it there to Harris Tavita at dummy half. Gets out of a tackle, passes right for Vaimalga. Then on to Stower Smith. He goes at the post, but 3 defenders around him. 5 from the goal line. Tanner Stower Smith plays it to Egan. Give it to Ford. Stopped half a metre short. I think great tackle, Harry Grant. No, he's not stopped. He's not stopped. He has scored. Ford has scored. And if that holds up, it'll be 28-14 kick to come. Gee,
a huge effort he gets. I thought he landed short.
So did I. There wasn't a huge reaction from him.
He's short. He put that that'd be a penalty.
I don't know whether that'll hold up. He sort of grazed the ball forward.
It's on the ground that he pushed it forward. Can't do that. But the referee was saying he's checking out the high contact. They can't do that. He pushed it along the ground.
Well, it's not so much a double movement as a continual grip.
Yeah. You'd like to see it at full pace, wouldn't you? Like, I always think this with double moves. It has to be shown full speed.
Well, see, that's interesting because he didn't lift his elbow at any point in time. None of his arm was on the deck. He just promoted the ball along the grass.
But the arm is short and he didn't lift it again. He sort of pushed it along the grass.
Because his arm wasn't on the deck and he hasn't promoted his arm from being grounded.
Wow.
This is one of the most technical outer rim outriders that you'll see in the rule of double movement. Because his arm wasn't grounded, he has promoted the ball along the ground, but has not promoted his body along the ground.
But that's if he lands short and pushes the ball forward, that's promoting the ball. You're tackled when the arm hits the ground or the ball hits the ground. So technically the tackle's complete and he pushed it over the line.
I'm with you, but I'm also trying to explain why this call stands.
I don't understand how it could possibly stand. That is...
Tana Boyd kicks the conversion. It's 30-14. Ian Cohen, do you want to help?
Well, it almost looked like his arm had actually stopped. It definitely looked like it. If you're watching it just on the replay now, he goes forward, stops, and then continues. So I'm not sure on this one. And Will Walbrick's also been talking about it. He's saying it promoted it.
Now, I don't have the exact level of the law in front of me, but we're always seeing that once your arm hits the ground, you can't promote the ball. The thing was his arm didn't hit the ground.
But the ball hit the ground. And the ball's attached to his arm, and he promoted that forward. The ball doesn't promote forward unless his arm promotes it forward.
Yes, I know.
It's bizarre. Anyway.
We're going to have to move on because we're both confused, I think. But the call stands. That's an interesting one. What do you think if you're watching and listening at home? 0467920222 on the text. By the way, Spriggy in the studio sent me a text. 2022 was the last time Storm lost 4 in a row, not 2015. So thank you, Brett, for the straighten up there as two of us are Sheks on the straighten up here with the carry up to the 30.
Issues for the 17 for Warriors. Tanner Smith's got the left hamstring, I think.
Okay, well he's been playing well, so keep an eye on that. Thank you, Ian. End of the set. 10 inside their own half. Boyd with a long kick downfield. Longo tracks to the left defensive quarter to catch it. That little goose step on the kick return up towards the 30, but he meets 3 defenders there, led by Ford and Egan, and they put him down. Melbourne fullback plays it on his own 30. Now Leo wraps to the blind side. Well taken around the thighs by Boyd. Ford up top, played 15 from half play. Munster acting hard. Gives it on to Meany, who ricocheted off the tackle of Laban before being stopped on halfway by Mountainer and Egan. Played to Grant. Given to Warbrick. The winger running down the middle third over halfway. Not a great gain though. Left edge eventually when stopped 45 out. Grant back to right in centre field with the pass to Munster. Feeds it right. Hughes shows it. Gives it to the edge. Little step, little go, but not through on the run of Howard as he's taken down by Khan Pereira on the wing. Last play Melbourne right edge. 20 out. Outside in play. Wishart. Hughes gives it back to Warbrick. Back to Wishart who's out there. Bounces off one. Gives it back to Hughes. They're still on the 20. Past the centre field for Grant. Grant kicks for the left. He's overcooked it. And what an Lesniak catches on the full, unchallenged in his in-goal area out to the 20 for a 7 tackle set. And he races up Dallin, taps it on his toe and gets to the 30 before being stopped.
Yeah, all the players outside Harry Gant, they threw their hands up. They wanted the pass. They had a big overlap with numbers there with far longer out there on the edge as well. Wrong option there by Harry Grant. As I say, he's looking very frustrated out there.
Ryan Hoffman with you on NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Warriors leading 30-14. They haven't beaten Melbourne in more than a decade. To Avasa Sheck to within 5 of halfway. Now Ford keeps chugging forward. A controversial try scorer just beyond halfway on that run. Egan gives it to the right for Tua. Peaky almost got through a hole. He got through Wishart, but he couldn't get through McDonald. Plays at 32 out. Warriors to the left. Harris to Vita's pass for Tua Vasashek. And in and away on Howard, but he gets him and drags him down on the attacking left. Last play, Warriors 15 out. Fed infield by Khan Pereira to Harris to Vita. He kicks for the right wing. The Flyers are up. It's got by Halasima. He passes to the edge and through the hands of by Melna to Wataneza Lesniak, and the Warriors go further ahead. This drought is on the verge of breaking. It's 34-14 for the Warriors, who haven't beaten the Storm in 17 starts. There's half an hour to go, but they are 20 to the good at 34-14. Kick to come.
They're running downhill, the Warriors. They are dead set running downhill. They've got their backs up. They're looking very, very sharp. Great kick across field by Harris to Vita. It's just getting numbers around the ball and making themselves available. Great job, the Warriors. They're playing with a lot of enthusiasm, and they look absolutely shell-shocked, Melbourne.
Ian Cohen down on the touchline.
Well, not only Melbourne, but the crowd's pretty shell-shocked unless you are wearing a top that represents the Warriors. And we know there's been a few different jerseys along the way, but those in purple, absolutely shell-shocked at the moment.
Dallin with 2 on the night, and now 7 for the season. A man whose hair looks like the Soul Glow commercial from Coming to America. Ever since Billy Moore mentioned that to me in a call we did together, I have not been able to get it out of my mind because I haven't heard a better description than that.
Yeah, I think more Randy Watson. I think he likes the Randy Watson.
Who was the singer?
Who's the singer, yeah.
No matter what. It's Dallin, it's DWZ.
Warriors making that change now with that hamstring, I think.
So Stoller Smith coming off and Fisher Harris about to come back on, so one hyphen replaced by another. Turner Boyd, right wing, 22 metres out, strikes with his right boot, another 2 points. Boyd's got 6 from 7. Some story developing here on NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. The Warriors lead last year's beaten grand finalists 36-14, and the Purple are on the brink of a 4-game losing skid.
It's not just a skid. There's 26 minutes to go. This could get really ugly again with how the Warriors are playing. And I think for the Melbourne Storm, Harry Grant, Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes, they need to take control here because they haven't been great and their body language isn't looking good at the moment.
Well, I remember we did that Anzac Day game about 6 or 7 years ago. I think Melbourne Cook was at 60 on them that night. So there's been some hidings in that 17-game run. Fisher Harris off the restart with the first carry. Up to 15 from his own line. Now blindside to Avasashek with an extra 10. Just short of the 30 as he plays it to Egan. Feeds it infield to Alasima, I think it is, yes. Lecker the Wrecker running in the middle at third. He'll play it there to Egan. Pass to the right through by Malga to Boyd onto the edge for Leotawa, who scored a first half try. He's taken down by 3 Melbourne defenders. 8 from halfway, 12 in from touch on the right. Egan feeds it back left and centre field. Malga's been massive off the bench. Energy, and he charges forward there. Wishart takes him down on halfway. Last play for the Warriors. Boyd with a high, deep kick downfield. Fayalongo well set. Catches it A from his own line left corner. He runs laterally across the 10, but reeled in immediately by Harris to Vita. And we're now going to shot on the big screen. Ian Cohen of well spotted. Tanner Stower-Smith ice on that left hammy. Not good news for him.
No, not good. He persevered for 5 or 8 minutes, but just couldn't get over it.
Well, again, loose carry from Warbrick. He's lost the ball.
It's a speculated pass.
So it just was, So I saw Warbrick losing it in the end. It was a poor pass to him, Hoffy.
Yeah, terrible pass by Nick Manning. I'm not sure what he was trying to do there. Trying to go around the Warriors and threw a speculator. And it was just out of the grip of Will Warbrick there. And Melbourne Storm putting themselves under pressure again.
Well, gee, there's a real sense about they might go in again here.
They're a great chance, the Warriors.
25 minutes to go. It's 36-14. Centre field scrum, a dozen out. Egan feeds it right. Harris to Vita steps back infield, runs laterally back towards the scrum. Almost through the hole, passes along the deck. To Avasashek, picks it up on the bounce. He's reeled in though by the fence on the edge by Howard. And the Warriors 10 in from touch on the left at 8 metres from the Storm line. Halasima feeds it right at infield through Harris to Vita to Fisher Harris. He runs into the tackle of Udawikamanu. And the big fish, the skipper for the Wars, takes the tackle 8 metres out. Egan passes right in centre field. Through by Malga to Boyd. Given on to Laban. Nice tackle. Clark around his thighs to knock him down. Quick play the ball. Egan to the right. Boyd double car past it to Apiki. Hits and spins, but can't get through the tackle of Munster. Try saver right on the goal line. Should have given the ball. You're right, Hoffy. There was an overlap on the right. Back to left and centre field. Boyd through by Malga to Harris to Vita. He's got the offload away. Back to by Malga. He's showing up with one hand. He chucks it out the back. Picked up by Egan. It's messy in their tackles. This is getting a little bit flary and a little unravelly here for the Warriors. Albeit they are playing with wind fully in the spinnaker at the moment. And Egan takes a moment. He's not happy to play it just now. Looks a little bit hurt with his leg.
He's slipping around there. Tuapiki absolutely butchered that. All it took was a simple catch and pass, and he would have put Paul Martins and Lesniak over the line.
So, last tackle, and Egan will play the ball. 15 metres out, slightly right edge. Warriors looking to inflict more pain here. It's Boyd with a chip at the end of the set towards the goal line. It bounces to Warbrick in the end goal area, but a penalty goes to the Warriors for an obstruction line. Disruption, obstruction, chaos for the purple at the back.
Once again, another penalty. I mean, oh, jeez, that's soft. Anyway, the Melbourne Storm needed to go up and try and catch it, but they've penalised Trent Liero for bumping shoulder and shoulder. I mean, it's a very, very soft penalty.
So Tana Boyd, they're deciding to take the two. And 36-14. Interesting.
Last week against Penrith, it was 10-50. Melbourne Storm supporters weren't expecting another scoreline like that, but this is fast approaching it.
Yeah, but that was against a team that's been in 5 of the last 6 grand finals and to the last 4 last year. Not quite the same level of consistency of performance from the Warriors.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what the 6 again penalty stat is.
You're having a look at that, Hoffy, while I'm describing Tana Boyd putting the ball on the green kicking tee yet again.
Melbourne Storm conceded 7 penalties and 6 ruck infringements. That's compared to the Warriors, 3 penalties and 1 ruck infringement. So that's 13 extra sets that the Melbourne Storm have conceded.
No wonder they're behind. Penalty goal attempt from Tana Boyd. Left of the uprights by 5 metres. 15 out. He knocks it over. Warriors 38, Storm 14, and here's that date. Round 18, 2015, at Mount Smart Stadium. That's right, round 18 of 2015 was the last time the Warriors had beaten the Melbourne Storm.
I was there, but I wasn't playing. I got injured during Origin and couldn't play that game for the Warriors, but that was a much closer win.
So that you were saying off air, it's an interesting stat in your career. The Storm were the only team you never beat.
Never beat the Storm.
In your time, obviously playing for the Storm a lot, but you didn't play that time the Warriors beat them.
I was injured. That might be why they beat them.
Jeez, you're hard on yourself, Hoffy. Ryan Hoffman with you, NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. 2 plays into the new set. Halasima beyond the 30. Just the energy off the bench from the Warriors has been excellent tonight as well.
Their impact's been tremendous. It really has. Stowe Smith and Vaimunga, they've been really strong as Vaimunga goes again.
He's been so enthusiastic. He's tackled 10 from halfway by Munga. And there's a man in the ruck. That's another wavy fisty. Tyron Wishart was lying in the ruck. Didn't try and get out of the way, so the referee pings him another set. To a peaky to halfway, tackled, plays the ball to Egan, give it to Ford, runs into the tackle of Harry Grant, who leads that tackling brigade. The arrow's there with him. Ford plays it 45 out. Pass goes to the left for Fisher Harris, who runs into 3 defenders. There's 20 minutes to go. The Warriors lead 38-14, and they're on the attack again. To the left, Harris Tavita feeds the inside line of Tuivasa Shek. Little goose step before being tackled around the legs by Clark, and up top by Uduika Manu. Play 25 out. Egan to the right for Boyd at the line. Passes to Apiki. Draws and passes. Leotawa's cut down. Nice shifting defence there. Out on the defensive left edge from the Storm by Leo. End of the set. Boyd chips for the in-goal area. Hughes leaps and catches. Great defuse by the little Storm halfback. And he's tackled just beyond the 10. There's class rising above the crowd there. Nice catch. Storm have got it, and they've got to be able to climb. And they'll get a penalty here with the Warriors offside.
That's what they need, the Melbourne Storm. They just need something to spark on. They need to have some momentum, have some time with the football, because they have had none in their second half.
Former fullback Jerome Hughes as well. Crowd tonight, no doubt divided, but 26,467 in the house.
26,467. And yeah, second consecutive sellout here, Ian, which is great news for the support. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of purple jerseys that may have stayed in the closet tonight because the Warriors jerseys come out. A bit of a blend of support in this town, Hoffy, you were saying?
Yeah, certainly. A lot of New Zealand people come over and they like the Melbourne Storm and less the Warriors.
Yep. King's got it. Melbourne in attack. Grant out of dummy half kicks for Fa'alongo in behind. Tuapiki's racing. Fa'alongo's racing. Tuapiki. Oh, he won the ball and chucked it backwards. And Fa'alongo pinches loses it from the hands of the intended target, Khan Pereira. So the Storm had the ball on the goal line.
I've seen some brain explosions in my time in rugby league, but
that was crazy. So Melbourne, having lost that place for the ball, get it back. Hughes has tackled 5 metres out. Grant to the left. Munster short ball. Wishart brilliantly tackled down low. Leia Tower and up top Laban. Grant burrows his way from dummy half but can't get through. He's put down midway goal line and left touch at 2 metres out. Wishart now feeds it to right and centre field for Munster. Through the arrow to the right edge. Hughes nailed in the tackle of Halasima. Loose pass is knocked on though by Tuivasa Sheck trying to clean it up.
Oh, that was big. That was big by Halasima. All over Jerome Hughes there. And Roger Tuivasa Sheck, who would have got a friendly bounce, he was gone.
By the Warriors. I've got a knock on off Roger as he goes to pick it up.
So the Warriors challenging this call.
My first impression was that it came off his knee. He didn't actually get his hand to it.
Healy about to come on for the Warriors.
So the contact as Jerome, he's at the line. The contact's not high, playing on.
Had Healy, Vaimunga and Stowers Smith activated. McDonald, Wishart and Mawali activated.
Roger definitely gets a touch on the ball there. Just need to make sure Hughes doesn't lose it into the Warrior.
Chris Butler in the bunker. By the way, about 18 minutes left in the game. 38-14 the scoreline in favour of the Warriors. Feedback from the PA.
Has he still got it in his hand when he makes contact? It's not to be okay.
Just joined us was 18-14 at
still
half
has
time.
possession of the ball and loses it backwards on impact. There's no knock on from Melbourne.
And then does RTS pick it up properly? Now his hands missed the ball. He has an absolute airy and then it comes off his knee. That's okay. Was it below his knee?
Did he get a touch to it?
Roger knocks the ball on down. Challenge is unsuccessful.
Yeah,
I thought he missed it, though. Look at the replay. He did get a fingertip to it.
Challenge is unsuccessful. We're getting lots of questions about Storm losing streaks. Well, the worst ever was 6 in a row in 2002. Under Bellamy, the worst is 5, but they won the comp in 2012.
Yeah, we lost 5 and then went on to win the comp.
Around 16-21. And this would be the fourth time if they indeed do lose today. But I don't know whether that stat's as impressive as the 17 in a row.
Yep.
17 losses in a row for the Warriors against the Storm. Amazing in the NRL era. That'd be right at the top of that list. Munster's got the ball off the Melbourne scrum, but he's monstered in the middle of the field. Boyd there at Laban rushing the veteran Storm playmaker to deck 30 metres out. Now Mini injects himself, but doesn't gain much. 1 of 5. 25 out when stopped. Now King rolls down the middle third for the Storm, who are in scoring position here as King's tackled. Centre field 15 out. Grant passes right. Munster. He gives it on to Hughes. Right to tackle. Passes to Failongo. Tries to put on the starter step, but can't get through. Halasima and Tuivasa Sheck. They stop him right edge and a dozen out. Pass back to left and centre field from Grant to Hughes. At the line, gives it to Munster. Runs at the line. Pass goes to Deck when he was trying to link up with the left edge. So Mini has to jump behind himself to clean it up and they lose ground there. Mini plays it out in that left edge. Leo passes infield into the set. A hoping Hughes bomb. Comes down 10 metres out. No challenge on Tuapiki to catch it. And the Waz fullback diffuses it. They've got the ball. They've got the lead. And they've got 16.5 minutes to go to break one of the great droughts of the NRL era.
It's the Warriors' defence this second half. They've been bullying the Melbourne Storm. They're getting up in numbers. They're hitting hard. They're lifting. They're driving. That defensive set was outstanding by them.
Now Khan Pereira, first time Warrior tonight, just beyond the 20. Now his opposite winger, Wadane Zalesniak down the middle. He's tackled short of the 30. 16 minutes to go. Warriors 38, Storm 14. NRL Saturday. You're hearing it on ABC Sport Live from Amy Park in Melbourne. Good run, Clark. 10 from halfway when stopped. End of the set. Harris Tavita, a floating kick downfield. Warbrick catches it. Right corner. Passes infield to Failongo. Headgearless at the moment. And he's tackled on the 20. Not sure whether he's decided to get rid of it, Failongo, but the headgear's gone. Now, it's left edge and Leo trying to run through, but he's tackled by Wadane Zalesniak. Storm on the 30. Wishart's at dummy half. Bounces out, goes on a jinking run, but gains only 5 or 6 metres infield. 15 from halfway. Yes.
Stewart decided he threw it to the trainer.
He had enough of it?
Yep.
Had enough, chucked it off. Okay, thanks, Cozy. Ask him a question. He's always got the right answer, that man. Nothing gets past Ian Cohen on the touchline. Munster to the right, through Hughes. Failonga onto Mini, whose pass is knocked down. Warbrick cleans it up, but it was knocked down by a Warrior's hand. That was Khan Pereira trying to tackle. Cleaned up by Warbrick. And a 6 more here for the Storm. At back, midway goal line and halfway. Out of dummy half, no room for Howarth. Tackled by Khan Pereira. Now Udawika Manu tries to surge forward. Healy's underneath him to take his legs up top. Clark makes the tackle. Storm now to halfway on the run of Liero. He's taken down around the legs. He flails long enough. He doesn't get the 6 more call. He's not happy about it. Left edge, Hughes, Munster through the hands. Failonga want to step and straighten over the 30. He's running laterally now. He's saying, where's my help? Where's my help? He straightens up, but is monstered in the end by a 2-man tackle led by Fisher Harris. That's big on little, if ever you saw it. Fisher Harris on Failonga. Now Munster running at the line. Draws 2 tacklers, offloads to Grant on the 20. He passes to Hughes, trying to create. Passes to the right edge. Stepping. Howarth infield beats 1, but can't get through the second. Howarth tackled on 5. 10 metres out. Last play Storm. Grant looks infield, goes back to the blind. Howarth's almost got his pants around his ankles, but he caught the ball and then gets tackled, and a 6 more call comes on the last play. So we're seeing a bit more of Howarth than we thought as he plays the ball to Grant, past infield, through Hughes to Munster to the left edge. Failongo gives it to Mini on step and straighten. Got through Boyd but couldn't get through Healy, and he lost the ball as well. Listen to the Wars fans rejoice.
That was an immediate challenge there by Nick Meany to Harry Grant.
Melbourne challenge.
They're too lateral, Melbourne. They're trying to go around the Warriors. They're not going to go around them. A lot more directness. I've noticed that Tyrone Wishart is now playing on the left edge instead of Cooper Clark. I don't know if he's injured or just needs a spell.
Quickly go around the grounds. Third quarter AFL. Hawthorn well in control of the Bulldogs. They lead 50-26 third term. Second half, tight in the rugby. Reds 19, Crusaders 19, so that's the close one.
Severely maxed eye contact with Nick Meany, which then leads to the knock on. Challenge will be successful.
Okay.
Challenge successful, high tackle.
And in the A-League, second half, Sydney FC 1, lead Western Sydney 0. So, challenge successful. Well, the Warriors are having a cuddle and a chat.
High tackle. Quickly set up and then move on.
So, they were having a huddle, and now the Storm get what play are we?
It's a penalty.
Oh, it's a penalty. Okay, penalty. So, fresh set. Udawika Manu on the straight. Seem to take so long, he sometimes forgets where you're up to. Thank you, Hoppy. Mistake across the game for me. Udawika Manu put on his back. 6 more again. I wonder if these repeated infringements might see a sin bin here from the Warriors. That might change the game. King on a straightener. Tackled 5 metres out. I'm not saying it's so, but these things sometimes happen in games like this. Munster passes left edge for Meany. Runs infield, pops it back to Grant on the 10. Give it to Liero. He goes straight. Tackled, offloads to Munster. Tackled, got off the King. Tackled by Harris Tavita in an offside position. Oh, and Harris Tavita wants to get into King.
And it's on him back play.
Nothing's really happening, but ringside goes up.
Yeah, King wasn't happy with the treatment, gave it to him, and then they were up and into it.
Hold on,
It's not taken
now.
No more.
No punches, but it's threatening to sort of become a mini melee. Every player on the field is in this gathering of men. Heated men here in Melbourne. Harris Tavita made a good tackle on King, who dropped the ball. And then I think he gave him a gobful, and maybe King lashed out. We just
Tried him a gobful and King gave him a bit of a shove.
Maybe he pushed him there.
King was the first one to do the push and shove. James.
Here we go. Let's tune in to referee Atkins here. Judge and jury.
Well, we're going to stop each here. James, you listening? First tackles here. When it plays on, there's a high tackle from Jerome, which is on report, but you've got the first penalty, right, for the contact here. However, that there, complete nonsense, 13 minutes to go. You two are fairly strong leaders. I want you to go back and address that, because if it happens again in 13, you'll be down to 12. Is that right?
with
Jacob, you're on to report for the original tackle also.
Jacob Laban's on report.
I'm finding it.
And that's where the original penalty is going to stand. So the Storm have got the ball here. 13 minutes to play. Score check. Haven't given one of those for a while. Warriors 38, Storm 14. So Grant taps and passes to Munster. Tries to create with a pass to the right for Hughes. Feeds the inside line of McDonald, who's put on his bum. By a good tackle from Healy and also Clark. Played to Grant. Passes left and centre field. Through the hands of Liero to Munster. Dummies and straightens, but Munster's got 2 and 3 around him. And the veteran 6 for the Storm will play at left edge. And 8 metres from the Warriors line. He's slow to get up. Bit of a leg tangle there, and he seems hurt, Cameron Munster. He's staying down. Grant's got a consoling hand on his shoulder.
You get with those ones, legs around each other.
I think he's feeling for his left knee.
A little twisted in there. I can't tell if it was looking at a hip drop. It's been cleared by the referee.
He's on his haunches, and I think he's going to be okay to continue. Yeah, he's got his left knee strapped and is just feeling at the strapping underneath that left knee, Cam Munster. So the existing issue aggravated there, but he's okay to play the ball at least. Grant to the right. Here's Uduika Manu. Hits the defence, takes the tackle. 5 to the right of the uprights, 5 out. Plays it to Grant, one-handed pick up. Great tackle though by Clark. He knew it was up to there, and he was all over Harry Grant. Ball now played to McDonald. Sweeps it left and centre field. Liero receives, dummies. Comes back to the right, and it meets the wall of Warriors defence. That time it was Clark crashing into him. Now Grant feeds it right for Hughes. Into the hands there. Forward pass. Can you believe that Howarth has put Warbrick over in the corner, but it was off a forward pass. No try, and the Warriors defence celebrates. They're on the brink of a drought breaker here. A decade-long drought breaker with 11 and a half to go. No score there. Line intact. Warriors 38, Storm 14.
It's the same thing with the Storm. They keep on trying to go around the Warriors. You're not going to go around them. You've got to play direct.
Got a text here from Steve on the Sunshine Coast. He says, "Hi Q, come on mate. You fail to acknowledge the Storm are desperately missing Ryan Papp, Xavier Coates and Big Nelson." Cheers from Steve. Well, I acknowledge, but I'll give you Kurt Capewell, Mitch Barnett, Chance Nickel, Klugstar, Luke Metcalf. Both teams have got men not out there tonight.
Definitely. Both teams have been decimated, but the players you named there, they're not coming back anytime soon. So.
No, Pappenhausen gone, Asafa Solomona gone. Warriors chant going around here in Melbourne.
Crowd in full voice. Q, you're right.
Is this a soccer night at Amy Park? Wow.
We go back to 1980 where Vitas Gerolaitis said no one beats Vitas 7 times in a row when he finally beat Jimmy Connors.
Hey, we're in this part of the world, but hadn't Essendon lost 17 in a row until they won today?
Yes. The Demons. Don't bring it up.
I thought I'd bring up the Demons for you. 17. Oh, no one beats the Warriors 18 times in a row. Here's Suafaya Longo. He's got the ball. Melbourne has it. 8 from halfway. There's 10 and a half to go. We're almost getting to the point where Warriors fans can pop the champagne corks in premature celebration. It's been a long time without a drink against the purple. Warbrick plays it. 43 metres out. Grant's there. Distributes to the left. Liero through Munster. Onto the edge for Wishart, but he's got no room to run there. And the Swiss Army knife of the purple, Tywin Wishart, is tackled 35 out in centre field. Plays it to Grant. Passes to Liero to the right. Runs at the line. Gives it on to Hughes. Hughes decides to run at the defence. But gets taken. That's 5. Last play Melbourne. 23 out. Blindside given to Munster. He runs it. Then passes to Longo. Pops a pass to Howarth, who puts it on his toe and kicks it dead. Kick dead.
There's just no answers. The Storm have no answers for this Warriors defence.
What is this game? Who are we learning more about tonight, Huffy?
Definitely the Warriors. Their defence wasn't as good at the start of the game. They've built themselves into this defence. It's been staunch. It's been strong. It's been aggressive. And the Melbourne Storm, they really need to go back to the drawing board what they're doing in attack, because they are far too lateral.
Unbelievable atmosphere here with the Warriors fans supporting as Jackson Ford goes forward. for the Wires. He's taken 3 metres from halfway. He'll play the ball to Healy. Jumps out a dummy half, Sam Healy, and has a go and runs into the defence, taken 41 from the purple line. If they score again here, the place will continue to rock. Clark to the left. Oh, Fisher Harris almost through a hole. Great tackle. Down low, McDonald up top. Hughes. Blake to Healy. They're 25 out. Given left for Harris to beat her. Chips in behind the line. Oh, King collides with referee Atkins in fielding the kick. And Atkins is okay. King's caught the ball. And the Storm have got it 5 from their own line.
That was a great play by Josh King. He was dealing with everyone there trying to get the ball.
He did a good job. And now here's Wishart up to the 20. 8.5 minutes to go. Warriors 38, Storm 14. Now forward goes Warbrick. That's a good run. Oh, 7 and 8 post contact meters. No one to give the offload to. He's tackled eventually 10 from halfway. Grant comes into dummy half and one-handed pick up that he's so good at. He does it so often to Clark. Immediate there to wrap him up. Clark tackles Grant on 5, 6 metres inside Melbourne territory. Hughes will kick downfield at the end of the set. Very shallow bomb. Look, it's going to bounce in front of and away from Howarth and into the hands of a waiting Warrior into a Peaky, who fields the ball, and the Warriors have it. 8 in from touch on the left and 20 from their own line. Well, they haven't won in Melbourne since Anzac Day of 2014, the Warriors. Let alone the fact that it was a year later when they last tasted success against the Purple. Watanesa Lesniak gets up after a run, holding his face and his left jaw. Dallin, he's not happy at the moment, DW said. Just tuned in, it was 18-14 Warriors at half-time. The Warriors have scored 3 unanswered tries in this second half and have added a penalty goal as well.
I'll ask a question. If you get a bump in the jaw, how does that stop you playing the football? You can still put the ball on the ground and roll it with your foot, surely.
But if you don't stop, there's no chance of getting a penalty.
Right? It's the bane of my existence.
Yes, exactly. If you don't stop, you can't get the bunker intervening to get a penalty. Oh, I tell you, Valmunga's been huge off the bench, and the run for him for the Wars up to halfway. Last play of the set, Boyd boots them downfield. Failongo will catch left corner on his own 10. Skipping and hopping his way up to the 20 before meeting the tackle of Ford and others. Storm, by the way, have got to go to Canberra to play the Raiders next week, while the Warriors will be back at Mount Smart Stadium taking on Gold Coast. 6.5 minutes to go. If you're tuning in across the ditch, send us a message. How about this? 0467 920 222, wherever you are. We'd love your thoughts as the Warriors are about to break one of the NRL's longest droughts. Hughes with a kick downfield, going for a 40-20. Great kick, Jerome Hughes, but Tuapiki gets to it just before the touchline, just before the corner flag. Momentum takes him into the in-goal area, and then he runs back into the field of play and has taken 11 metres from the southern end. Fizz starting to go out of it a bit now. The result looks a certainty as Tuivasa Shek takes the tackle a dozen metres from his own line. Now here's Watanesa Lesniak. He looks okay, having received a not previous run. That's a pretty good carry just beyond the 20 for the veteran try scorer who's put another 2 in the book tonight. Right edge Vaimunga on a run. Can't get through the tackle. Vailepu is out there now. Lazarus Vailepu for the Storm. Now Healy feeds forward, and Ford runs. It's not Vailepu, it's Faiteri out there. My apologies. So he's the last of the 4 activated. Boyd will kick downfield at the end of the set. From his own 40, he boots it pretty much straight to Failongo, catches it on his chest on the 10, hops over the 20 and up to the 30. As the Storm run it up here, Ryan Hoffman. How has Melbourne got here tonight with this losing streak now about to hit 4?
Yeah, look, the Melbourne have just compounded their errors. I mean, they've given away a lot of penalties, given away a lot of 6 agains, and that frustration has creeped in there how they played, and they were off their game. And look, everyone's going to talk about Melbourne, but
Harry Grant's almost done an intercept pass which was knocked on by Hulleseen when trying to catch it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to talk about what's going on with Melbourne, but let's give the Warriors a rap here. Like, they weren't in great form. They have played themselves into great form here tonight through a willingness to defend and defend aggressively.
This is an away game for the Warriors, but Ian Cohen on the touchline, can you just describe the feeling down there?
Yeah, look, it certainly started before half-time when the Warriors were right in the game. All of a sudden, the crowd got into full voice, and they've been up and off their plastic, certainly in the second half, no doubt about that. And the Purple Army has been very, very quiet. So the Warriors always get great support, and it's been really loud tonight.
So the Storm get the scrum feed on halfway off the knock-on from Halasima. By the way, news from the National Ats Championship, another sub-10 for Lockie Kennedy. Same time as in the heats the other night, he's run 9.96.
I thought you said Axe Championship.
No, the Ats
I thought you
Championship.
were talking about Dave Foster or something.
9.96 for Lockie Kennedy, equals his personal best. Oh, loose pass from Munster out the back. Picked up by Khan Pereira, who stumbles and just as well for the Storm. Oh, he gets up and gets going again, but is taken from behind. Taken from behind in the tackle of Warbrick. They're on the attack again. Khan Pereira is almost off for a debut try in a Warriors strip. Loose pass to the middle of the ground to Wapiki picks up. 3.5 minutes left in the game. And the Warriors are going to taste rare success in the Victorian capital. Rare success against the Purple as Fisher Harris is driven back by a three-man tackle. But Big Fish don't mind. He'll get up and play at centre field, 21 out. Healy serves it right. Boyd at the line. Passes on to Niakure. Murata Niakure tackled right edge and 11 from the goal line. Played to Healy. Pass left and centre field for Boyd. Shows it and gives it to the straightening runner Fisher Harris. 8 metres out, centre field. That's play 5. Last for the Warriors here. They're on the attack once more. Healy swings it left for Boyd. Gives it on to Laban. Good two-man tackle there. Hughes wraps up the ball. He had help there also from Howarth, and it's a handover, and the Storm will get it. I'll quickly give you those around the ground scores. So Hawthorn third quarter AFL 70 to the Western Bulldogs 32. Second half Super Rugby, Reds lead the Crusaders by 29 to 19, and in the A-League second half, still Sydney FC 1, leading Western Sydney 0. Yeah, Kennedy 9.96 ahead of Azzopardi and Browning, who ran outside 10 seconds. So he's equalled that personal best from the heats the other night. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left here, and Fayalongo plays it far, 15 from halfway. Pass goes to the right from Hughes. Now on the edge, a bit of a run there from Howarth, but he bounces out of the tackle of Tuivasa-Sheck, gets up, passes infield, cleaned up off the deck by Hughes, puts on the goose step, pops a pass to Grant. Grant's going to be tackled 23 metres out. Penalty goes to Melbourne. There was a player held back.
We don't often see this, but the Storm fans have been hitting the aisles and making their way out of Amy Park. We don't often see that.
Warriors fans aren't going anywhere. Hughes kicks for touch. There's 90 seconds left in the game. Round 18, 2015. 2015! 11 years ago. That was the last time the Warriors beat the Storm. But they're going to break that run of outs tonight. Melbourne looking for some late consolation. As forward runs Liero. We've got 80 seconds to go. Liero's tackled 16 metres out. The Warriors lead 38 points to 14. Grant passes to the left for Munster. Shows it, gives it. Good defence on the right edge though. No way through there on the little feed ball, which was given to Vaiteri. Plays it to Grant. Pass back right in centre field. Munster to Hughes. Hughes kicks for the right wing for Warbrick. Leaps. Catches. Khan Pereira's there to tackle him. Gives it on to Howard. Got it for the in-goal. Tuipiki's there. He's near the dead ball line. And then he bounces his way back into the field of play. But the penalty goes to the Storm. There was an obstruction.
Obstruction the in-goal's 10 metres out.
So that time off with 32 seconds left.
This is making the penalty count look a lot more even, the amount of penalties. 6 against that have happened in the last.
It's all academic now. Warriors fans just want to hear the hooter and celebrate. Shift to the left. Short ball there from Munster on to Clark. But that was a good tackle, Sam Healy, to get in his face. Clark's tackled 8 metres out from Melbourne. In the dying stages of this one, Grant passes right. Munster's monstered by Fisher Harris. A big statement from the Big Fish on a big night for the Warriors. Munster slow to play the ball. One of the great droughts of the NRL will be broken on this Saturday night in Melbourne. Howard trying some late heroics. His pass is knocked down. And for the first time in 11 years, the Warriors beat Melbourne. 17 games it's been since the Wars have sucked the purple. But tonight the men from across the ditch have thumped the Storm. 38 points to 14. And Melbourne's on a 4-game losing skid, which has the competition looking south and wondering if they will be the perennial force in 2026. 18-14 at half-time to the Warriors. They scored 3 unanswered tries in the second half. What a result. The Wars break a 2-game losing skid. They're 4-2. And the Storm are now 2 wins, 4 losses. 38-14. Drink up across the ditch. That's a drought breaker worth a toast.
Outstanding Warriors, outstanding. They deserved that win because they worked hard. They didn't finesse their way to it. They didn't trick shot their way through it. They just got their victory from hard, strong defence. That second half, sorry I'm choking on my own enthusiasm. That second half, they were absolutely tremendous defensively. They hunted in packs. They went in, they didn't just tackle the Melbourne Storm players, they hit them. And look, for the Melbourne Storm, the only place they're going to find answers of what's going on is in that change room and looking at each other. There's no point looking anywhere else. Too many opportunities, too strong, ill-discipline, and the defence just wasn't good enough.
Well, we'll get more from you, Hoffy. Stay close to Ian Cohen. We'll get the reaction. 38-14. Melbourne's 17-game winning run against the Warriors is broken. And round 6 of 2026 goes into the record books after it has been, as I said, 11 years. Round 18, 2015. The last time the Warriors had beaten the Storm, and it was 2014, the last time they won here. 2 tries for Dallin Watanabe, Lesniak, Leotau and Niokore. Tuivasa Shek and Ford also scored. Boyd kicked 7 from 8, while for the Storm, all points coming in the first half. Clark and Howard scoring tries, Meany converting both. He kicked a penalty goal as well. It was 18-14 Warriors at half-time and finishes 38-14. We'd love your thoughts. Send them through on the SMS 0467 920 222. Please send us your name and where you're texting from. 0467 920 222. Canberra, the Roosters and the Warriors, winners on this Saturday of round 6. Now, there's Ian Cohen.
Absolutely down here with Wade. Congratulations. Talk to us about a decade in the making for this particular win. You're shaking your head. What's the feeling inside the Warriors camp at the moment? The hoodoo after 17.
Yeah, mate, it's always a tough trip coming to Melbourne. They've been the benchmark for, 20, 30 years. So, to come down here and get a win, it's very pleasing. Obviously, a long year to go, but, we haven't won here in, as you said, over a decade. So it's very pleasing for our fans that showed out tonight.
You had plenty of fans as well. It's almost like a home game for you sometimes with so many fans.
Yeah, home away from home. Everywhere we go, everywhere we travel, we always have a big show on the fans. We can't say enough about our fans. They're awesome, and Melbourne's one of the hotspots for our Kiwis, so we love playing it.
Talk to us about through the middle. Storm appeared to try and go around you guys. You really owned the middle corridor.
Yeah, I think we did. We got some big boppers up front. Aaron Clark's played outstanding. Fisher Harris and our other boys, Jackson Ford, he just goes all day. So those guys done a great job laying the platform, and then us as a spine were able to play off the back of that.
And had there been talk about coming here with the Drought?
A little bit, actually. We got showed a few highlights yesterday of all of us losing. So I haven't won here ever, I think. So it's a good feeling tonight.
Well, you have one to add tonight to the highlights reel.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Wade Egan down there with Ian Cohen. Gee, it's been a day for breaking droughts. Full time in the Super Rugby. The Queensland Reds have beaten the Canterbury Crusaders at Lang Park for the first time since they beat them there in the 2011 Super Rugby Grand Final. Reds have beaten the Crusaders 31-26. So we had Autumn Glow's streak broken, Essendon's 17-game losing streak broken, this streak broken, and the Reds break a streak as well.
What is going on?
What is going on? Back to Ian Cohen.
We've gone from one number 9 to the other number 9 as well. Harry Grant's been kind enough to join us. Harry, you described the effort. We've had 80 minutes to describe it, but what was it like from you?
Yeah, I think that was just effort in stages of our game. I think we missed a bit of effort that really cost us at times, and a little bit of discipline that really cost us too. And yeah, that's just the way the game is. It's super fast, and a lot of it happens very quickly. But yeah, we got to be good enough to get ourselves back in and defend those moments. And yeah, we're certainly not doing that at the moment.
The discipline in particular, obviously there was a lot of 6 again, there was a lot of penalties. It was spoken about by the coach at half time. What does Storm need to do to address that?
I think some of those are hard to avoid at times with the speed of the game. So we just got to bite down on the mouth guard and be willing to defend those. Some of those dumb penalties, dumb 6 against. Sure, we got to clean those up. But some of the stuff in the game it's just going to be there. You're not going to go through a game without giving away a penalty. So just got to be able to defend it, and we're not doing that at the moment.
Storm has certainly owned the Mick Moore Trophy for a very long time, 17 in a row. You'd be disappointed, obviously, but what did the Warriors do different that they haven't been able to do 17 other times?
Oh, they were a desperate footy side tonight. They showed that with their intent, running hard and tackling well, and that's a simplicity of the game at times that you just got to do well week in, week out. And, they're off the back of a few losses, so I think they really came to play tonight.
Heading into 4 losses, uncharted territory for Melbourne Storm, really. What's going to be the feeling on the track this week?
Yeah, it is uncharted territory, and I think we prepared really well. The way we sort of prepared for this game, we trained hard, brought it back to basics with our defensive structures, and really going after that. And with the ball, we're playing some good footy. But yeah, it's just been able to now take it into a game for 80 minutes. Yeah.
Appreciate your time on ABC Sport.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Harry Grant fronting up as ever, professional that he is, speaking to Ian Cohen. Warriors' biggest ever win over the Storm as well. A 24-point margin at 38-14 after it was 18-14 at half time. Janine from Indooroopilly says, hello team, good call, Storm get what they deserved. Beck from Lake Macquarie says, any other team and they'd be looking for a new coach, and I love Craig Bellamy, but what the hell, guys? And she's even put a poo emojis there. That's interesting. And I appreciate your thoughts, Beck, that the longevity of Craig Bellamy and 4 losses in a row. By the way, last time they lost 5 in a row, they won the comp.
Q, I'll jump in. I've got
go for it.
I've got the oldest man that was out there on the field tonight. He's giving me a hard time when I address that sort of thing to him. RTS, take us through that win. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's a win that the whole team needed to step up to. Come here to Melbourne, you can already feel defeated of their history and how good they are, but we came here and took it, and you showed with the energy that we're pouring out there. We went out there and the whole team put it on.
You managed to score a try as well. You must have been jubilant with that, but you must have known 20 minutes in that Storm were either off their game or your game was outstanding.
No way. They're 20 minutes in. I think they were leading. We couldn't. We couldn't step away, or we couldn't sort of just back off. We had to keep going. Like I said, we had to keep taking it from them, and they were leading at one stage, but the boys stuck in there.
What about some of the debutants? You've got some new players that would have only experienced defeats against Melbourne Storm. How important is this for the club to turn around what was 17 in a row?
Yeah, it was tough. That history is hard to take, and for me, I've been in a lot of those games, and it's been tough, but there's no real big celebration for me right now. I'm just happy with this moment, and
All right, we've got the presentation going. We appreciate Roger's time.
Great to hear from a man that, he would have, you know what he's like, Hoffy, having spent some time with him when he was a young buck and one of the superstars of the game. Ryan Hoffman with yours truly, Quentin Hull and Ian Cohen. The Moore Family Trophy is about to be presented as well. The which has been a long-term trophy between these two teams, going back to the days of the footy manager around the turn of the millennium, wasn't it?
Yeah, year 2000, unfortunately. Mick lost his life at a game over there after a game in New Zealand. And look, the Warriors always treat Mick Moore's family with great respect, and this game with great respect as well with the Storm. But it is something that is important to both clubs, and the New Zealand Warriors are very deserving winners.
We'll see if we can tune in here.
Play each other, the Storm and the Warriors battle it out for the Michael Moore Trophy. We're joined by Meg in representation of the Moore family, who will present the Michael Moore Trophy to the winning team, the Warriors.
Looking around for a representative from the Warriors to step up, and James Fisher-Harris thinks, hey, that's my job, and there he comes over. And we're going to get a word from Fish. No, he just walks away from the microphone.
Congratulations to the Warriors. Storm fans, huge thank you for coming out in force tonight to Amy Park. We'll see you at our next game for Anzac Day.
Maybe we could have got a word or two for him there from the crowd, but no, they're going to now pose with the trophy, a photo that hasn't been taken since 2015. 38 points to 14 here, the final score line. Quentin Hull, Ryan Hoffman, and Ian Cohen with you.
I've just noticed a nice little gesture from Andrew Webster. He's calling both Meg, Georgia, and Kath Moore over to get a photo with the team. So that just reinforces the respect that the Warriors have for the Moore family as well.
So everyone's assembling, and the photo's going to be taken. So, okay, what are these Storm players feeling, knowing they're about to enter the rooms with the coach having steam coming from his ears? What's it like? You've been in that scenario.
Look, they don't need the coach to tell them how disappointed they are. Like they should know. They know they're not playing to their potential. They know they're not playing well, and they're not doing what it takes to be a successful rugby league team at the moment. In the end, this is going to come down to individuals, because that's what's happening. Individual errors, individual mistakes, individual discipline problems that is causing that is putting the Melbourne Storm under pressure, and that's what it's been for them. The one saving grace for the Melbourne Storm, I would think, is that it's round 6, not round 20. So they've got a long way to be able to fix this.
Well, one of the reasons that the Warriors have started the season so well is this man with Ian Cohen.
Absolutely, Q. Tanner Boyd is here, and what a season start it's been for you, but more importantly tonight, well done, congratulations. What are the thoughts?
Yeah, it was great. Got our style on, and still room for improvement. We're a bit patchy at times, but I thought for majority of it, we showed what we want to do, and the boys were so tough tonight, and it was really good performance.
So you've just been handed the Mick Moore Trophy. It has been a long time, 17 matches, obviously a decade since the Warriors have had that. What does that mean for you, and more importantly, what does it mean for your season as well?
Yeah, we spoke about it during the week. The importance of getting this trophy back. It's been a long time, as you said. So we took it personal and really wanted to put in a performance to get this and keep our season going.
What went right for you tonight? It appeared that the Warriors were absolutely on song early. We know obviously that you had a big second half, but what went right early when you knew you were in the game?
I think we were just building momentum, putting work into them, and then striking when we need to, and that's our game plan. And we executed and did a great job tonight.
You certainly play on the edge as well. A couple of times you handed it back to them in positions that you wouldn't have wanted to.
It was tough, gritty, and you got to step in when you need to.
And you had your kicking boots on as well tonight.
Yeah, it was a couple I missed. I'm pretty disappointed with a few, but that's always going to happen. There's always going to be improvements. So.
All right, as we let you go, I'm going to take a photo with you, because that trophy there, the Mick Moore Trophy, has not been in Warriors' hands for a decade.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, while you get to work there, that's where you can sort of see the extended part of our coverage. Those pics and interviews, of course, you can hear the best of on ABC Listen if you want to hear those interviews, but even the little bits of the quotes around the games, make sure you're across our socials. Just search ABC Sport, be it Twitter or X as it's called these days, Facebook, Instagram, it's all around the place. 38-14 here. We'll get to the wrap from Perth in just a moment as well. But just to reiterate the scoring details here, 6 tries to 2 in the end for Melbourne. For the Warriors, should I say. Wadaneza Lesniak with a double. Leotawa Niokore to Ivasa Shek, and Ford also scored, and Boyd ended up kicking 7 goals from 8 attempts. And for the Storm, Clark and Howard the try scorers. Mini kicked 3 from 3, the 2 penalty goals, and the 2 conversions and a penalty goal. Ian's looking at me. Yeah, he can come up, mate. Get out of the cold. He's got his duffel coat on, his beanie, and we've taken our jackets off here in the box. We always feel a bit guilty.
Nice up in the haberdashery section, while the rest of us are down here in the hardware section. Look, I can thank whatever guide it is that looks after the sideline reporters, because the rain stayed away, but it was a rain of effort from the Warriors, and you can just see and hear the jubilation in their voice, what it means. They've stayed out here. There is thousands of fans that are still spanning around here at Amy Park, and the Warriors are not leaving here anytime soon, and when they do leave here, they're going to take that Mick Moore trophy with them. So an outstanding effort by the Warriors tonight. For Storm, obviously Canberra, then I think they got Souths, West Tigers. Like, it's not going to be an easy month coming up for Craig Bellamy and his men.
Not at all. Yeah, there's almost as many seagulls now around with as many as the fans that are here. So Storm won their first 2 and now lost 4 in a row. Canberra at Canberra Stadium next week. Then they play South Sydney here in the Anzac Day game. That's the next fortnight. Then they go to Lane Park to play the Dolphins. Warriors back home to Mount Smart to play Gold Coast. Then they play the Dolphins on Anzac Day in Wellington. And just before Magic Round, they've got a game against Parramatta in Western Sydney. So the Wars are 4-2 and back on track, and the Storm 2-4 and on a bit of a slide. We're just got to get your votes.
Yeah,
you're 3-2-1 on this Warriors performance, which, well, certainly is going to take a bit of sifting through. But no Luke Metcalf again, no Kurt Capewell again, no Mitch Barnett. You could mount a case. I reckon only 12 months ago, they're the 3 most important players.
They certainly are, but it's the young players that they got coming in. They're replacements. They aren't mugs. They could be starting in many other NRL sides. Like Stower Smith, strong. Vaimunga, strong. But I'm going to get to my points. 3 points. It's his last year with the Warriors, but he was tremendous tonight, both defensively and with the ball. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, I thought he was tremendous for his team. He really was. He's looking evergreen.
I think there's been a couple of performances where he has looked every bit of his experience, to put it politely, but he bounced back tonight.
But he was symptomatic of their performance tonight. He was strong with the ball. He was strong defensively, and when you see a fine leader like Roger Tuivasa-Sheck doing that, it just drags on those other players. Speaking of young players, 2 points went to Dimitri Vaimunga. His impact was awesome. I don't know how many carries. I don't have time to look through his carries and everything like that. But it wasn't just how many carries he took, it was the quality of them. He's bumping players back, he's getting quick play of the balls, and defence, he was absolutely punishing. And the 1 point, I'm going to go Jackson Ford. I thought he started the game very, very, very strong. Probably the unsung hero of the Warriors pack when you're featuring superstars like Halasima and James Fisher-Harris. But he was very strong, got a well-deserved try. And he had great impact for the Warriors here tonight.
So 3 to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, 2 to Dimitri Vaimunga. And I will have a look. 41 minutes for Vaimunga for 130 metres carrying.
Off 18 carries.
Off 18.
Jackson Ford, 23 carries.
For 162 and 144 metres for Tuivasa-Sheck and a try. So 3 to RTS, 2 to Vaimunga and 1 to Ford.
So they were blind votes about not knowing what they did, and I reckon I know that now looking at the stats.
Exactly. And
stats don't tell everything.
Exactly. I love the fact that you just, you look at the game and, you give it on the field. 38-14 the final score line here. Keep your messages coming on 0467 920 222. Just before we get to the wrap of the wins for the Raiders and the Roosters in Perth today, let's just update you around the grounds and repeating on a day of sort of streaks breaking. The Canterbury Crusaders had not lost at Lang Park to the Reds since the 2011 Super Rugby Grand Final. And Will Genya scored that memorable breakaway try, the last and only time the Reds had won Super Rugby Pacific or its equivalent. Reds won tonight by 31 points to 26 over the Crusaders. We've got to full-time in the A-League as well. Sydney FC has won that big derby there. Sydney FC 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. And into the last quarter at the Adelaide Oval, Hawthorn has a 4-goal lead over the Western Bulldogs. The Hawks 10-11-73 lead the Bulldogs 6-13-49. Let's get to Andrew and the team, though, to wrap up the two games in front of around 33,000 fans, I think it was in the end officially. The Raiders and the Roosters winners out west with the details. Here's Luke and Andrew.
Q, what a great day it was at Perth Stadium. Bright, sunny, 30 degrees and a crowd of 33,404. Luke Lewis, we've got two games to wrap up and we'll do it in chronological order. The first game was an absolute classic game of rugby league, 6 tries apiece. Canberra led South at half-time 24-4, and then the Rabbitohs did brilliantly well to fight back to 24-22. Then Kyo Weeks turned the game on its head, or so it seemed, with a 99-metre try with great speed and evasive qualities. Ethan Strange scored 6 minutes later, and it was 34-22, game over. Not really. 36-22 it became, but then South hit back with late tries to Alex Johnston, but of course, and Jack White, and within 90 seconds, and Canberra desperately held on to win 36-34, and what a game of footy it was.
Amazing game of football. There was a couple of little periods there, maybe for 5 minutes, where they had a couple of drops, and then it was just really good, high-quality game of football. It was a lot of ball movement, some high-quality skill that I love. But you talked about Kyo Weeks. The game was sort of on the line. He comes up with a tackle break, 99 metres out. He runs to his left. He looks to his left, shows a little dummy, gets into the backfield, and it's a sprint race to the try line, and gets the Raiders into that real comfortable spot where it was game over. Then they backed up with another try, and then all of a sudden, South turned it on, started playing some football left to right. It was a real good game of football. Loved it. Had everything that you wanted in a game of footy. But yeah, it was. I think the better team won. I think Canberra held on. I felt they were the better team for the longer period of that 80 minutes.
There were many highlights in the game, but that run and try by Kyo Weeks was crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a try like it. An individual brilliance, especially at a time when it needed to be. Like Canberra were out on their feet, and then he just comes up with that play, and then all of a sudden, all the momentum straight back to Canberra. But I think that will go down probably as the try of the year. But it's still only early in the year. But that was phenomenal from Kyo Weeks.
You gave, in the ABC Player of the Year, 3 to Canberra second rower Hudson Young, 2 to right centre Simi Sasangi, who's adapting to that position brilliantly, and 1 point to South Sydney's 5'8" Cody Walker, who seems to be back near his best in 2026. So there were some mistakes, as you mentioned, in that first game, but it almost added to the excitement. The mistakes in game 2 did not.
Definitely not.
In the end, though, a mighty comeback. Cronulla Sutherland led the Roosters 16-0, then they led 22-6, and crucially, right on half-time in the 40th minute, Daniel Tupou scored from a crossfield Sam Walker kick. And they went into the sheds, the Roosters, down 22-12. Daly Cherry Evans scored in the 3rd minute of the second half, his 100th career try. And it was a real dogfight there at 22-18. When I say a real dogfight, it was just a drop ball from both. Neither team could complete a set. Then the Roosters started completing and the Sharks were gone. Tupou scored his second try. Cherry Evans scored his second try. Near the end, Victor Radley scored 34-22. They dominated the second half as Cronulla did the first.
Yeah, this game had a lot of things go on in it. It was a really good start for Cronulla. They got off to a 16 points to 0. And then obviously, the Roosters did come back with that little try. They blew a couple of tries early too, don't forget. They made a clean break out of 3-on-1 and they couldn't get that job done. Then they come up with another play with Rob Toyer that got called back from that crazy bunker decision. And I thought, no, they haven't got it, the Roosters. They're not going to get it now. Unless they score before half-time, and then Sam Walker put that brilliant kick on for Daniel Tupou right on the bell of half-time. That only put the points down to 10. Now, I think if they come out of second half and they were down 22-6,
yeah,
I think they might struggle. But that 22-12 gave them a little bit of belief. And then
either side of half-time, they scored 2 tries in 4 minutes. So does that result, who does it have a bigger impact on? In a positive way for the Roosters or a negative way for the Sharks?
I think definitely in both ways. I think it's a negative for the Sharks and a massive positive for the Roosters. The Roosters weren't playing their best footy and they still come back and score 34 points. What's that, 28 unanswered points or whatever it is. So that's a huge play. And considering